Good evening. Oh, I love when I get a sneezing attack when I'm supposed to get on the mic. That's always wonderful. Right before I get on there. What's up, everybody? Uh-oh. I hear an echo somewhere. Aw. Where's this echo coming from? Give me a second here. Okay, I think I fixed it. Hope so. Good evening. Let's start off with the comments here. Hope everybody had a peaceful day today. Sun shining. We woke up. What's up, Skittles? Oh, Kevin. She snagged the first comment. What's up, Phantom? Appreciate you. No, you're not. What's up, Kevin? Turn this down a little bit. What's up, Kevin? You called what? No. Skittles got it. Good evening, Kib Kitty. How are you? SRB. And it does feel like family, don't it? Look at all the dancing going on. Good evening, Cassie. Ava, what's up? Ava, man, you had a lot of good points last night. A lot of good points. We'll be getting into some stuff tonight. We got I want to say thank you to SRB. We got the FBI letter from the mom to the FBI. We got the full report from the MAIT. That's going to be interesting. If you guys haven't read it or heard it, very interesting stuff. We do have some more graphic content. And Courtwheel, I suppose. Aw. Poor baby. Ava much. Yes. This sickness is going around. Oh, I love sleep. What's up? Aw. Just dead to the world today, sleeping like crazy, huh? I could sleep. Oh, I feel you, Cassie. Oh, that sounds so nice, sleeping for a week. When I got home today, I was like, oh, I wish I could have a nap. Nope. Then you have. Same. It is. Oh, I love sleep. Have all the since the boom. Yeah, I hear that. If you like that intro, make sure you sub to Grizz. Rock hands. Gonna be a fun night. Sleep is the love of my life. Oh, I love sleep. And please hit that like if you haven't yet. I appreciate it. Is rocking out. Oh, that's awesome. In your prime. Oh no. Sound like you're in your 30s. Seriously, right before I went on, it's like, chew, chew. And then I felt another one coming, and then it waited a minute, and then chew. It's like, whoa. Thank you so much. I said 30s. Welcome, welcome. Too much pain. What would be the perfect age, you know? What would the perfect age be? I think we have a room full of sleepers. I love sleep. Love it. Well, again, I was gonna do the theories night, but there's a very, very good reason we're gonna wait on that again. Because I really think that we need to listen to this read through of the full report and then let's kind of see what theories line up. And another thing that really, I mean, I even started questioning my own theories after I saw what I saw. And I'll show it to you at some point. I'll give you a graphic disclaimer. But yeah, when I seen these, I was like, there's no way he was put there. I just don't understand how, with what was there, how could I? You'll understand what I mean. So that's when I was like, all right, I seen that first. Then I heard the full report came out. And that's when I was this morning. I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to re-question some of my own theories here. Not who, but where. And you'll see what I mean coming up here. We will get into those before I read the full report, unless you guys would like me to wait till after the report. We could do that too. Graphic. Yeah. So I'll let you guys let me know. Whatever you guys are comfortable with, but sometimes the uncomfortable we have to discuss, talk about, because although it is uncomfortable, it is a part of this case. Just like some other topics that we've also covered in the past when it came to this case that might come up again in this episode. It's part of it, so it has to be discussed. I was trying to make myself feel younger, Skittles. Drink a big glass of water. My bad, Kevin. I'm okay either way. Yeah, whatever you guys want. I just they need to be included in what we're gonna be doing tonight, and you'll see what I mean. I don't know. I'm starting not who, it's where, and I already have a theory on where and how after that. But I want to read the full report. I want to see everything that they got in it. It goes into detail now. And as we've been doing these shows, we've really only seen like 2 pages of it, and not even 2 full pages. It's been cut offs, crops, not even 2 full pages. This is everything. I believe it's 110 SRB. Is that what it is? 110? Yeah, I watched that today too. That was crazy. Yes. Yeah, there's actually two Kevin Kraft. There's two different versions. There's Engelbert and what was the other officer's name? Starts with a C. Yeah, it's on YouTube. After the show, Kevin, I'll send you the links if you can't find it. I have both of them saved in my show folder because we might go over that later on in the week. I don't know. We'll see what happens over at yeah. I mean, seriously, I don't know. Have you guys seen what I seen? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? If you've seen what I seen and you know what I'm talking about, tell me what you're thinking now, because I don't know. I don't know how I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I've been meaning to look. How do I do that, Ava? Because that's one of the things on my to-do list that I was gonna try and there's a bunch of shit I was gonna try and learn this weekend. I was gonna try and learn OBS. I was gonna try and learn how to do the polls on the fly because I think that'd be really fun to do polls as we're doing the show. Uh, I just don't know. I've never. Let me see. How do I? Community moderation participants timestamps. Um, how do I do that? Do I got to go to the studio? Let's see. Top chat, live chat. Community participants as a post. Now, there's a way that you can do a poll. Excuse me. There's a way you can do a poll on the show. I wish I knew. Well, we'll figure it out. I'll look it up. If watch a video. Yeah. Good idea. Yeah, there's a way to do it. I need to learn how to do it because I would love to do polls each show as the show goes on. I think it'd be really cool. And then you can vote anonymously if you want to, you know? We can just look at the percentages. I love polls too. You just landed. Oh, you're flying again. All right. Where you have like your banner, you can post a poll there. Yeah, I'll have to figure that out. All right. So we got a baby update. Hold on 1 second. We need to do that while we're in the intro. Aw. She's so tired. Open in browser. All right, we'll share this. We'll shut the scanner off. Switch over to Beautiful Liberty. Kaboom. Aw. Kevin's in Bangkok. Oh, look at that. Aw. So damn cute though, right? Thank you for baby update. So cute, you know? Hey, Pam. Those are socks? Oh. I thought they were little mittens. They look like little mittens to me. Aw, she's so tired. Usually she's just loving the camera, but today she's just tired. Aw. Hey, they look like mittens, so it's all good. It's cute. Sunflowers. Is that what those are? No, those are daisies, right? It's hard for me to tell. Daisies? Yeah, good evening, Pam. Just starting off the show with some Baby Liberty. All right, so I'll go ahead and open up the panel here. If anybody wants to hop up, you're more than welcome. So we're going to go into a little bit of a court TV episode. Then we're going to read the mom's letter to the FBI. And then either before or after the MAIT full report, we'll check out those photos. Oh, baby fever. I know, it's great. All right, so there's a court TV episode I wanted to get into first here. Give me 1 second. I'll get to you in the backstage here in a second. I'm in my other screen. Let me see. All right, here we go. What's up, man? Oh, I bet SRB. What's up?
I don't think I'm being heard.
I can hear you.
Is anybody there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Your mouth's working now.
Hello?
Are you there?
CJ to space, can you hear me? Hello, 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 hello.
I can hear an airplane. What's up, man?
Nothing. Just chilling, man. How's your chest?
Well, it's letting me know it still exists.
Yeah?
But as long as I'm not getting hit, I'm good. So,
Yeah. You got it. Is
I'm
there
sleeping
some
like
kind of like cover they can like put in front of you, man, or something? You know, like in case something does fly off again?
You know
I'm sure that won't be.
You know how tempted I am to buy like a bulletproof vest or body armor or something after that?
I mean, shit. Or at least build yourself a little wall or something. You know,
but then that just gets in the way.
Yeah, because it probably won't be the first time, I'd imagine, right? I mean, how did that thing crack anyway? What? How did that take place? What happened?
My money's on when I put it back on the lathe. If you go back and watch the video, it was vibrating. Because what I should have done is when it initially messed up, I should have never stopped and just took it to the size I needed on the inside and just finish it with the hole in the middle. Because what I think happened was when I put it back on, it started vibrating, and when I started cutting on it to fix the outside, so to get it to run straight again, it was just so far off center, and it was vibrating so much that it just started cracking everything. And it was just a matter of time.
Right.
Because if you turn the volume up right before it blew, when you see me hitting the power button to turn it off and try to stop it, you can hear 2 cracks before I hit the power button. That was that resin finally letting loose.
Okay, yeah, because when you said that, I watched it again, and that's when I started hearing that crick. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why when I realized what it was, I couldn't move quick enough, and because I knew it was a matter of seconds. And honestly, when I heard the second one and realized what it was, because you'll note I stopped after the first one, and when I heard that second one, I was scrambling because I knew what was about to happen.
Oh man, you're
Like that's
lucky
what
it didn't.
made it even worse, because it's like I know I'm gonna get hit, but I don't know how bad this is gonna hurt. Please, for the love of God, stop! Ow, I got hit.
Well, thank God it wasn't a sharp edge flying at you that fast, man.
Oh, I caught something sharp on the top of the head.
I mean, I'm glad it didn't penetrate your skin, man.
My head was bleeding.
Jeez. Oh, it hit your head? I thought it
Yeah.
hit your chest.
The chest is looks way worse. I mean, my head, it was a glancing blow to the top, and you know, when you get a small cut in your head, it bleeds for days, it seems like. But yeah, if you go through and actually watch the whole live stream for like the next hour and a half, I'm just randomly taking a paper towel and dabbing my head and setting it off to the side.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know
it took
hit
almost
your
2
head.
hours for my head to quit bleeding, and I had a good old knot on there for about 2 days.
Well,
But
damn.
yeah, I'm
Oh,
hurt.
that's why everybody was talking concussion then. I didn't realize you hit your head. I just thought you hit your chest.
My chest took the bigger part of the hit.
Okay.
But
Mm.
no, I think the concussion was just because someone was trying to be funny. Because
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
in the moment, I honestly didn't even realize my head was bleeding. Because after, well, I was laying on my lathe and said, I'm totally okay. That just really hurt. A few minutes later, after I put everything together, I actually took a paper towel standing up so it wasn't on camera when I took my hood off, because if I was covered in blood, I didn't want that to be on YouTube. And
Right.
I took a paper towel and just laid it over my whole head, pulled down and lifted up, and I saw a little patch of red. So it was like, okay, nothing major. It's just a minor cut.
Mm.
So head wounds just bleed like crazy. But the joy of being a medical nerd that actually knows a lot about first aid. Considering one of my son's videos.
If nobody knows what we're talking about, this is the video that we're talking about here.
And actually, as of when I got home from work, I only had 3 views on that. So much for it going viral overnight. I was all excited, like, hey, maybe I'll actually get something.
Well, okay, I don't know what you did with it, but you did it. I don't know what you did with it, man. Like the short thing.
Yeah. I uploaded it under short.
No, I made you the video and I made you a thumbnail, man.
Oh,
the video, yeah, just the video that I made, just post that and then just use the thumbnail I made you as the thumbnail for the video, bro, and watch. It'll fucking kaboom.
Yeah, because I cut the video down a little bit shorter when I posted it, and
yeah,
I didn't know how to add the thumbnail to the beginning of it, so I was just like, I don't know.
Well, that's no, you did the short thing the right way, you know, with the mobile and stuff.
Yeah.
This is a upload for, so like here, let me show you. So like right now you got your short, right? And then you got your uploads. All right. It's going to show up like it'll show up like this, like you're finishing the golf ball, but it'll be that 1 minute and something clip with that cool looking thumbnail that's got thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, you know. Yeah. That's what's going to stick out to people's eyeballs, is that thumbnail.
Yeah, cool.
And then people will be like, and then if you just make the description like short, like, you know, the boom goes the bowl or whatever, just something short, that somebody's gonna be like, what the fuck? So they'll look at the description and be like, boom goes the bowl. Oh, I gotta watch this. What is this? I don't even know what it's about. and then they'll see the picture and they'll see like the subscribe and thumbs up, and that just automatically reminds them, oh yeah, let me hit subscribe real quick.
Okay.
Like the shorts, the short stuff that you did. I don't know, dude. I don't know how to. I don't really mess with those. I make my own short videos, like
Okay.
and that's what ends up doing better than the. I have one short, but I don't know.
Then I guess I misunderstood how to do all that.
No, you did the short the right way. You did that the right way with that. But just take that video also and upload it as well, and then have that thumbnail on it. If you need help, let me know. But yeah, I bet you that one will get you your views and shit, because it'll have a catchy thumbnail, a short description to it, and then people will be like, let me check it out anyway. Because right there, it's kind of hard to see, and I really don't know the thumbnail stuff on the shorts. If anybody does, if you want to type it in chat and help either one of us out. But I don't know. I did that one short that I had, and then after that, it was just so much of a pain. I was just like, you know what? I'll just go back to making my quick edit videos on Twitch, and I'm good. Hey. But yeah, man, throw that up there, and I bet you it'll get some traction.
Okay.
And then tag the short into the description of the video that you upload, so then people can click on the short too. Oh shit, I was gonna show it real quick. All right, we'll show this real quick if nobody knows what we're talking about. And here, go ahead and subscribe if you're not to Kevin Kraft. Thank you, SRB. I appreciate that. I know I jumped too. Sorry, didn't see the shirt yet. Saper Hobbies.
Y'all got to see me jump in a big way.
I know, right? Then you grab that thing, like, ooh. I was feeling it every time too. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd be doing the same thing, man. Oh shit. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, you hear it crack too. Now that you said something. Yeah, just go ahead and put the phone down.
Please be good. Please be good. Please be good.
Can you tell I was nervous about something?
Please be okay.
You were like, please be good.
You know, I have still not found the light that was directly over that lathe.
That hurt.
Makes me cringe every time.
The way that I edited it, man, right when you're down here looking at your phone, and then
I was actually texting my dad, who I was the one that I was making that for, letting him know, because he was actually going to be on his way to come pick it up later that day, and I was like, don't even bother, it just blew up.
Yeah.
Like, that's how fast if something goes wrong, I get on my phone to let people know.
Yeah, just pay attention to the way that I started it and ended it for you, man. Because I have it ending right when you look up at the camera, and then it just cuts. It's just done. I can't. I was like, that was what was that, Sunday morning I did that? Or yeah. I was like, you know what? He stayed up with me all night. I'm just gonna go ahead and make it for him without waiting. So I just made it, man. It was fun making it. So I was trying to make it a little creative for you, so that way it kind of popped at the end there.
I appreciate it, because I really, like I say, since that hit, I have been sleeping like crazy. So,
yeah.
And I've been hungry as heck, because I'm one of those weird people that I'll eat one meal a day and then just graze. But like at work, I'm just like, I'm starving all night. Like every 2 hours, I'm in the break room, get hit in the vending machine or something.
Yeah.
My supervisor gave me all kinds of grief last night, because he's like, dude, I wish I was single, man. You can eat whatever you want. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm hungry.
I'm hangry. Oh, you haven't seen it? Yeah, we got to get that other upload up there, man, so everybody can like and share that thing.
Which one?
The regular upload with the thumbnail.
I'll have to. I think I can do that on my other phone. You sent that to me on Facebook, right?
Yeah, I can send
Yeah.
it whatever way you need me to send it, man. I can do it on
No,
email if you want to.
I've got Messenger on both phones. That way I can.
Okay.
So, all right.
Yeah, let me know if you do it during the show, and then I'll go ahead and go back to it. So we're gonna check out this Court TV episode. Let me see here. So did you need to see it, Pam? Real quick.
See what? I can't see chat right
I think
now.
she said she hasn't seen it. Here, I'll just do it.
Uh,
Kitty, go ahead and set your phone down again, okay? I'm gonna show Pam real quick. All right. Put your phone
it
down.
doesn't get old for
Kitty.
me at all. Reliving this horrible moment that was last week.
Dude, I would be like, you know what? I'm still alive. I'm still pumping. And
Hey, I
dude,
did a
this
YouTube.
video's it's gonna catch.
I did a short one a couple days after because I wanted to make sure that I was actually okay.
No, not again. Okay.
Hey, if it's any consolation, I've got one of two ideas for tomorrow night's project because I was going to go live since it's your night off. One of them is another resin bowl that I have sitting in my barn right now. Why?
Hey,
Because I'm clinically insane sometimes.
Do it, man. That sucks. You wasted all that money, though. How much was that? Did you say $80 in supplies for it?
It was about $80 in resin, and I got the golf balls for free. Well, as I do my spring cleaning this here in the next couple of weeks, I'm probably gonna save all the pieces parts I can and recast it up and see if I can save it. But I'm also not holding my breath.
Right. Hey, and you know what? It's a good thing that you're streaming live because if something does happen, somebody can call the fucking, some help or some shit, bro.
Well,
I mean, shit. At least we can be like, damn, he got hurt. We got to call somebody.
Well, the other nice thing is with my setup and my safety procedures, I always have a charged Bluetooth in my ear. And like if you ever watch one of my lives, you'll see I'm always looking down and off to the side. I have another phone, because I have two, that's always plugged in. That's just, I'll have my YouTube up, but the video will be paused just for the live chat. And if I ever need to, I can reach over and hit the side, and it immediately goes to, what do you need? And I can just say, call emergency, or 911 or whatever, and it'll automatically call. Now that I say that, I want to make sure my other phone doesn't, because it's done that to me before. It's always a pleasant conversation. Yeah, I don't know why it called you guys, but I got to see everything is totally fine. I promise.
Shoot.
I was
Very
at work
nice.
one night and it rang at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I picked it up and I'm like, hello? Hi, this is Barberton 9, our emergency dispatch. Is everything okay? I was like, yeah, why are you guys calling me? Oh, we got a call from this number about 3 minutes ago. And I was like, I have no idea why. Just sitting in the office at work. Like, I'm at my job right now. Everything's fine. Okay, we just wanted to make sure. Thank you. Have a good night. I was like, okay. Like, I really hope nobody shows up. That's going to be really funny.
Lucky they didn't send somebody out there already.
Well, if they could hear anything, they probably heard the factory background noise and assumed it was a pocket dial at that point. So,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
know.
You were
I
at
don't
work,
know.
right?
It was funny though.
Hell yeah. Man. Man. You never know. You might have called them now. I said, well, that's nice. Yeah, that's true. too.
Actually, I'm looking at my other phone, so I know I didn't. But it was almost dead, so I'm letting it charge up before I play on it. So
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get into this court TV video here. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll put the link up in chat. And then that way, if you want to watch the whole thing, you're more than welcome to go to it at some point. So let me switch my screen here. Put that up there. If anybody would like to hop in, you're more than welcome. Just ask for a link. Kevin has a ghost. But he kept pushing the lock button on my phone. Oh, shoot.
I'm confused.
Oh, they're all talking their own stories of 911. Oh, well, why can't get your phone up and get chat up on from YouTube?
My other one's almost dead, and if I get out of this app, then I can't hear you because all the audio just bugs out big time. So.
All right. Well, I'll pay attention a little more, and not so much on the video here. And then if they have any questions,
I got to worry about all that.
Let me see. Oh no.
About 5,
I need to
6
get
more
better
minutes,
at that
I'm
anyway.
gonna-
I just got so many things going on.
I know.
All right. This is the mysterious death of Stephen Smith. I don't know why they're naming that again. Mysterious death. That's what. Isn't that what mine's called? Hold on a minute. Or no. Stephen Smith's mysterious death. That's what mine's called. Okay. I got rid of iPhone after that didn't work. SOS feature. No, Kevin can't see you right now. Well, get your phone charging, man. And then after 20 minutes, just power it up enough for the show.
It's on the charger right now. It's at 24%. At 30, I'm going to bring it over here and start looking. And
all right, at 30 is going to do it.
I can see what you highlight, though. Like, I can see Cassie saying I can't see them. And no, I can't unless CJ highlights it right now.
Oh, so I need to highlight them? All right. Oh, shit. They're going to gang up on you in chat while you can't watch.
Okay, that's it. I'm going to risk it.
Here he goes. You talked him into it, everybody. Oh, they're shit starters, aren't they?
Hey, I am too, so I can't be upset.
He's only on 24% battery. Don't show the chat. They're saying don't show it.
Oh, I see it. I see it, and I'm already yelling at him, so it's all good. We're gonna have some fun now.
Oh, okay. I can't think of it. Oh, now he sees it. Don't highlight. Right. Oh, traitor. Oh, I didn't show this one, Cassie. Now I did, but he can see it.
And
I had to say didn't first. All right, let's check out this episode. Snitches get stitches.
But first, this hour, we return to the low country of South Carolina as the investigation into the death of Stephen Smith heats up. Stephen was found dead in the middle of a country road in 2015. It was ruled a hit and run, something many people are questioning. Chanley Painter returns to the scene of the crime as we go through newly released documents and audio recordings with Stephen Peterson, the investigative consultant who has spoken to witnesses, examined evidence, and investigated this case. Tonight, we are live from the Low Country, taking an in-depth look at the death of Stephen Smith.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got 2 big hours tonight, 2 big stories. We'll get back to the Gwyneth Paltrow story in the next hour. This hour, though, we're going to start with a case everyone is talking about, and it goes back to 2015 when Stephen Smith was found dead in the middle of a road in the Low Country of South Carolina. At the time, it had local notoriety, but there weren't a ton of media outlets from around the country and around the world talking about it. Well, they are now. And they are because of what happened this year, which was the prosecution of Alec Murdaugh, who was convicted in 2023. Now, from the outside looking in from here, like, well, how What does one thing have to do with the other? Well, that's really the question here. And it's a big question. We don't know. That's why this investigation is now heating up, and people are hoping to get some answers as to whether or not there is any connection. But the fact that Alec Murdaugh has been convicted changes a lot down in that part of the country, especially down in Hampton County. It really changes the perception of the influence of the Murdaughs and their ability to control investigations, control narratives, and perhaps skirt justice. That's over. That game ended with that conviction for double murder by Alec Murdaugh. Now he's facing a series of things we know about that. But let's get back to Stephen Smith, because there was an investigation, and a lot of those materials have now been released from the original investigation, which seemed to come to the conclusion that this was a hit and run. Which, by the way, a hit and run, you still have to solve the case because somebody struck him, killed him, and then left the scene. We don't know if they did it on purpose or if it was an accident. But what we really don't know is if that even happened, or if it was just the fact that his body was found in the road and there was a presumption and an assumption that it was a hit and run. Does the evidence match the conclusion? And by the way, we still have to figure out who's responsible for this. There's a family that deserves answers, and someone needs to be brought to justice for what happened here. So we're focusing a lot on this week. Chanley Painter, Court TV legal correspondent, is returning to the scene and is back down in the Low Country, visiting different locations, speaking to people, and going through all of those documents that have now been released and trying to put some pieces together here. And Chanley Painter joins us now live from Hampton County, South Carolina, where she has been all day, where there's been some weather, some rain, etc. Chanley, great to see you. So let's start with the scene of the death of Stephen Smith, where someone took his life. One way or the other, someone took his life. What did you see today? What did you find out? And what sort of struck you about the scene?
Yeah, great to be with you, Benny. I'm here in downtown Hampton, South Carolina, in Hampton County. About 10 miles, actually like 10 minutes from where I'm standing would be the location where 19-year-old Stephen Smith's body was found in the middle of the road. And like you said, it was a bit rainy earlier this afternoon when we were out there, but here is what I learned. Let's watch. It was here along this rural Hampton County road in the early morning hours of July 8th, 2015, where a passing motorist spotted a body lying here on the center line and called 911.
Hampton County 911, where's your emergency?
Hello, I just going down the Parkerville Road. I see somebody laying out.
It was a warm Wednesday morning around 4 a.m. So that means it was dark out here. There are no street lights on this narrow 2-lane highway, just some power lines. The road flanked by a field on one side and then trees on the other, with a couple of houses around the area. But within minutes, on that early morning, Hampton County Sheriff's officers responded to the scene. They soon requested the South Carolina Highway Patrol. But what they saw here raised a lot of questions. Location of the body was odd. There was no glass in the road, no skid marks or other vehicle debris. The victim, whom police later identified as 19-year-old Stephen Smith, had no injuries consistent with someone being struck by a vehicle in the road. In fact, his loosely tied tennis shoes were still on his feet, and his undamaged cell phone and car keys were still in his front pocket. Stephen Smith looked only to have trauma to the right side of his head that investigators first believed was a gunshot wound. Anthony, according to reports at that scene, the assistant coroner pointed out to the investigators what she believed to be a defensive wound on the victim's hand. But ultimately, later that day, when Stephen Smith's body was taken to autopsy, the medical examiner determined that it was a cause of death was due to an apparent hit and run accident. And that, of course, changed the course of the investigation from then on out. Let's take a look.
Go ahead.
I want to show you this scene as mapped out in 2015, Vinny, because again, SLED was involved initially in the investigation because those initial first responders believed that this was a homicide. Here's what that depiction looks like from investigators. This is the SLED crime scene. Investigators put this together. It shows the positioning of the body in the middle of the road. Those first responders really only noted injuries to the head area. There were no broken bones, we later learned. And then the location itself was suspicious according to these reports, because usually a hit and run, a body isn't usually still in the road when being struck by a vehicle moving 55 miles per hour. And also, his shoes were still on his feet. His phone was undamaged. His cell phone's still in his front pocket, along with his keys. This phone is key to the investigation. However, they had trouble unlocking that cell phone, Vinny. I've confirmed they did unlock it in 2017. It is now in the possession of SLED, of course, but that will be key leading up to who may be responsible for this. But another thing that stands out is the location of the body of Stephen Smith, and of course where his vehicle is found, is only a few minutes from where he's now buried. We passed it several times today, working on these elements and putting together the story for you tonight. Here's what it looks like. It was definitely the most decorated gravesite in the entire cemetery, Gooding Cemetery. His mom, Sandy Smith, has told me that she likes to collect cat figurines and place them at the grave there. He loved animals. He loved cats. And this this headstone was actually provided by funds from a GoFundMe account. A year or two ago, they raised money to make this nice, beautiful headstone. You can see it right from the road, Vinny, as you drive up and down Bamberg Highway, not far from, actually it's on Sandy Run Road, not far from where he passed away.
All right, Chanley, stand by. I want to bring into our conversation in Charleston, South Carolina, investigative consultant Steve Peterson. Steve, great to see you again tonight. I know you've spent a lot of time working this case. Let me start with what I saw. I saw a road that seemed very straight in one direction. The other direction, there was a bit of a curve. Is there any theory by those who believe it's a hit and run, which way the car was even going?
No, I don't believe there was any theory in that respect. As you said, in the middle of the night, there's no street lights. There was little ambient light from the moon. The weather was just not, it wasn't a starry, bright lit night. So you couldn't really tell from that location you're showing right at the street, but looking back the other way, there was a slight one side. Corn was quite high back then. 2015, on the other side, there were more woods. They've since harvested a lot of the trees, so that lot looks more mowed down. But back then, you can see trees on one side, cornfield on the other side. So you can't really tell in which direction the vehicle was traveling, if in fact it was a vehicle that struck Stephen.
Right, and I always come back to that because the first thing I think about is it's not a super busy road, it's not a super highway, right? So if you're walking down the road, would you hear the car coming? Would you see the lights coming, whether it was behind you or in front of you, and you end up getting struck? It makes no sense to me how you could be walking down the road and hit under those circumstances on that particular road.
Yeah, no, you're right. Especially at night, you'd see the oncoming headlights long before the car got close to you or the truck got close to you. You would have indication that there was a vehicle coming. And in fact, Sandy, Stephen's mom, was very adamant that he would not have been walking in the road. He would have been along the side or even kind of off in the ditch. You know, being a 19-year-old openly gay man in that part of the state, he's very reluctant to be out in the middle of the road. He's more secretive or more guarded, we'll say, than the average person. So he wouldn't have been in the middle of the road.
What did you think of the position?
There.
Yeah, what did you think of the position of the body and where it was found, the position that it was in, the fact that the cell phone is not damaged?
Well, there's a lot of questions that come into mind. You know, I'm not a highway investigator. That's not my forte. I was a paramedic many years ago. I've seen more than my share of car accidents, but I didn't investigate them. So a lot of the information that I received regarding the accident, I would forward on to my colleagues who are also retired. Some of them are active duty in various agencies across the Southeast. And I would say, give me your impression of this. Tell me this. Would this happen? Would that happen? Is this unusual? Is that unusual? And there's really no answer to any of it because you can come up with a scenario that could explain all of it. We just don't know what that scenario is. As I discussed with you last time, you know, we had two theories of what happened.
I'm sorry. Even looking at these other fucking pictures, it is obvious it's not a hit and run. What do you mean, man? And then he's not asking you to investigate. He's asking you what you think. And if you sit there and you tell people that you've seen so many, I used to be this and I seen, but to investigate, oh no. Whatever, man. He's asking for your frickin' opinion. What do you think, Kevin? What the hell, man? Hit and run is obvious, not a frickin' possibility.
I don't know that it was just because his shoes were still tied, or
What
they weren't
the
really tied
hell?
on and they were still on his feet.
Who the hell? I mean, that's cool information about the trees being taller and the corn being taller and shit. You know, thanks, man. But
Yeah.
this part, what do you mean? Man, what is he part of it or something? Jeez, what the hell?
Sounds like somebody. Sounds like an attorney
What?
that doesn't want to give a definitive answer either way.
Something. Who is this guy?
Isn't his name Indecision, Dave?
Chanley Painter. That's the female. I like her. She does good reporting. I don't know. Where does it? I don't see the guy's name. Huh. Path. Yeah, I don't know. Oh well.
Yeah.
The information that I received from SLED, we kind of discounted one and then focused more on the other. The second theory being that it was an accidental vehicle strike, that a vehicle did hit him, and that there may have been some damage to the vehicle, but the vehicle may have been damaged ahead of time. The mirror may have already been broken, so there wasn't any glass to be found. Because there wasn't any glass in the mirror.
Oh my gosh.
It could have just been the frame of the mirror that struck him. Don't know all the details. And at this point now, nearly 8 years later, you'd be hard pressed to find that you have any physical evidence left.
What?
I want to take another listen to that
Good.
911 call because
Move
this
on.
is how the investigation starts.
Move on.
Let's take a
Move
listen.
on.
Hampton County 911, where's your emergency?
Hell, I just going down the wrong Parkerville Road.
Good
I see
evening,
somebody
ATS.
laying out.
And is it in the road or on the side of the road?
He in the road.
Oh, in the road.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll get an officer headed out that way to see what's going on.
Oh, I ain't moving or nothing like that. But somebody going to hit him in his dark. Somebody going to hit him.
All right, we'll get an officer headed out that way.
I'm glad he called in.
Do we know if this witness was ever interviewed?
He was interviewed by the Highway Patrol. I believe he may have been interviewed later on by SLED, but he's just a poor guy going to work first thing in the morning, drives by, sees this body in the road. He was quite scared that it was some kind of setup. So he didn't want to stop. He just kept going and called 911 immediately, reported it as he was driving away.
And he was driving, was it light out when he was driving?
No, it was still dark out.
Still
It was
dark,
like
but he was
4:30,
able to
5
see.
o'clock in the morning.
He was able to see a body laying in the road, yet we're going to try to believe that someone driving down, seeing someone standing up and walking, didn't see the pedestrian.
Right, Vinny?
Well, you're right. He did see a body in the road with his headlights. And under my theory, the vehicle that was involved, the occupants were intoxicated. So who knows what they saw.
So I think he's referring to what's his name? The two gentlemen, Daryl Williams, the guy that Randy Murdaugh told him to contact authorities, and he even told him that at the end of the interview. Daryl Williams, who his son was, his son and his friend. McMillan was the last name of the dude that was drunk. Remember, he was the one drunk, hit something on his way home, hurried up and went home, called his friend Patrick. Patrick was the son of Daryl. Patrick is the one that told his dad, Daryl, what took place and then ran out and puked. But I don't know. That theory to me is the least. That's the one that I think is the least possible out of all of them.
If the guy was drunk, I could see him getting sick if he thought about it. Or even, just had too much to drink and maybe it was just bad timing.
No, I think
But I thought they said there was something about, it looked like he could have got hit in the back of the head with a baseball bat when somebody drove by.
Too.
Or am I misremembering something?
No, that too. But I don't know. I think if the dude threw up, he knew what the hell happened. Because why else would you throw up? If your friend's telling you, I accidentally hit something, it could be a freaking raccoon, It could be a squirrel. You don't know.
Yeah.
But if you know it's a human body, you're gonna run outside and puke.
I know some people that would throw up if they thought they hit a squirrel. So I actually used to date a girl that, it was bad.
I don't know. We're talking about farm boys.
True, but
they're used to, there's a hunting lodge. That might be entertainment for them. But I don't know. I think it's the least plausible out of all of them, just because at the end of the interview, Daryl tells Ellie, the only reason I'm coming to tell you guys this is because Randy Murdaugh asked me to. So right there, that tells me the probability of that one being really existing is like, because to me, that's just a plant.
Yeah.
That's a plant story. Now, it is interesting that the whole story did come about, but it makes you wonder, okay, well, if Randy did want to plant a story with that being the story where he did get hit by a vehicle or whatever, then when it comes to what you just mentioned about somebody driving in a truck and hitting something, then I can understand how then that can be turned into somebody getting hit by a vehicle as a plant story.
Yeah.
I like the Steven. Oh, thank you, ATS. That Cherry made that for me. And so I was able to put that up right. It's a lake with a sunset underneath. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think, when we get into these photos, Pam, it's really going to twist some of our theories. It's really going to twist kind of some of what we maybe even thought took place or didn't, or what. I mean, but we'll check those out in a little bit after this episode here from Court TV. We'll read the FBI letter, and then after we see the graphic, and I'll put up a disclaimer for everybody. And we'll probably 5 minutes, you can skip ahead 5 minutes and you'll be good. After that, then we'll get into the full report. And I think once we see the new photos, we go into the full report, gather everything that we can get from that report, and then go back off of all these other interviews that we heard. Then I think we can really, truly hone in on what possibly took place, or at least something that might make sense, is what I'm thinking we can do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit play on this. We'll finish this up a little bit. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I appreciate you.
But they weren't paying attention. They were not. They were drunk. They were out driving, and it was an accident that they struck Stephen. If my theory holds up.
His theory.
And what are your thoughts?
No wonder. No wonder that dude thinks that shit. Because I don't know. This guy, I don't know about him yet. I don't know. I don't know. He thinks he actually got hit by a vehicle. I don't know.
So after speaking with investigators who were at the scene, because some of them questioned that it didn't look like a hit and run.
I don't know.
What was it?
Not by a vehicle.
To them, didn't it seem like a hit and run that others would say, yes, it could be.
Just go to the shoes, man.
Well, some of the conclusions that you discussed earlier,
right?
You got the shoes still on his feet. You have the body in the middle of the road, right on the line.
Right.
And normally you would assume that if a vehicle struck a person.
And we watched the interviews in the Theories and Interviews video where the LE is sitting in the frickin' chair telling you, I don't know one case that they have shoes on. And these were loosely tied. That's all you need to look at.
He would glance off in one direction or the other. And even my experience as a paramedic would show you that the shoes would fly off. If he had a phone loosely in his pocket, that might bounce out of his pocket, depending on how fast the vehicle was traveling when it struck him, and depending on the significance or the angle of the blow. So there's a lot of things that take into effect. It could have been a glancing blow, but at a decent speed, a glancing blow can have deadly effects. So it's, you until you recreate it, until you know all the...
And I notice a lot of people not saying this, like on these shows that we watch, is the keys were actually halfway out of his pocket. Everybody's stating the keys were halfway out of his pocket. Halfway.
That could have just
coming up next hour.
What's up?
That could have just been from him falling, though. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the shoes were put on. I think the keys and the phone was put in the pocket. I think.
Yeah,
that's just what I think. That's what I think.
My gut says he was killed.
Are you serious?
Killed somewhere else, and he was brought there after. But that's just my speculation.
Well, this is the hit and run that I actually think took place. Was somebody driving by and hitting him in the head with something, baseball bat. Because when you listen to Mark's interviews, okay, we're going to be going into him at some point too, Mark Brickert, however you pronounce it. When you go into his interviews, he actually says that he was not only talking to Stephen when he was at the gas station, when he was going to get gas, and that people were harassing him, and so he decided not to get gas. And then he said that when he was talking to him, asking him if he was walking, and he said no, he said he could hear beefy truck tires going down the road. So the big beefy tires that have tread on them, you can hear them buzzing a little bit. And he said he could hear dogs barking. So I think Stephen was in this truck. The truck that was reported, the 2 to 3 guys harassing him. The truck that was reported seeing him walk, and they turned around and came around to mess with him. This truck. I'm surprised they are going with... Are you serious? How are they getting to that conclusion? Am I nuts thinking that it wasn't a hit and run? The lawyers are going for the hit and run?
Like I said, I don't think it was.
Vehicular manslaughter. Wow.
Yeah, my gut says he was killed somewhere else, and they put him in the street to have an easy way to make it look like it was something like just a drunk driver clipped them, so that people could get away with it. Especially knowing what we know about that area. And
Okay. I seen a crazy tweet. Because we've heard these attorneys already say multiple times, I've never done anything like this before. This is the first time for me. But we're here to help and we're doing it out of our own pockets. Now, I saw something earlier about how they're reaching out to a podcaster for advice on directions to go. I don't know. I just can't see hit and run when I'm listening to all these different interviews from the people that investigate these crimes all the time. And every single one of them, they even were throwing fits with the pathologist. Multiple LE throwing fits with the pathologist about it being a hit and run. So I'm surprised that they are going that route. But he's worked with sled and doesn't know. That's true too. I don't know. I'm going off of the evidence, and I'm surprised that both attorneys are on. Really, I'm shocked that both attorneys are going that route, because nothing tells me, even the interviews, the evidence, nothing says hit and run. I'm surprised they're going with that. I wonder why. I wonder if they have any statements. I wonder, does anybody know if either one of the attorneys, I know they have interviews on the interview room or something. I think both of them got interviewed. I was going to check those out this weekend on some chillback shows. Chill back and watch their interviews. But does anybody know if there's any clips on their statements on why they're going with that theory? I'd love to hear why they feel that that's interesting. I'd love to explore their thought, because then if they can make sense out of it, and I would be, hey, shit, who knows? I leaned more on this court TV segment. Yeah. Oh, I learned more on this. Yeah, this was a good segment for sure. I like what's her name? Chanley Painter. She did pretty good with we've watched her in some of the shows from a couple months ago. She did pretty good too. I think she did some Idaho 4 stuff.
And Court TV will bring it all to you.
The Gwyneth Paltrow ski crash.
He had a cell phone in his pocket. $1. Now, jury will decide.
On Court TV.
Court TV. Arms crossed.
From the beginning, was it suspicious to you?
Yes.
Why?
Because he wouldn't have been in the road. He had a cell phone in his pocket. It wouldn't be the first time he had to call for somebody, And but the car was locked. He had his phone and his key in his pocket. But then he left his wallet. So if you're going to go get gas, why would you leave your wallet in the car? And he wouldn't walk. No, he would have walked through the woods. He would not have been in that road.
It just don't make no sense.
That's Sandy Smith, Stephen's mother. She's been looking for an answer, looking for justice for years now, and we'll see. It seems like there's more momentum now in this investigation to whatever it leads to, but we have not gotten a definitive answer of how Stephen Smith died and who is responsible. This is a crime. Any way you look at it, this is a crime that needs to be solved. So you heard what Sandy had to say. Let's go back to Chanley Painter, who's in the Low Country this week. So Chanley, another part of the scenes involved here is where his car was, because apparently he's originally driving his own car. So what did you find out when you went there, and where exactly was it?
Vinny, it was a about 4-minute drive from the location of Stephen Smith's body, where authorities say his vehicle was recovered. And you make a turn in the small community of Crockett'sville. That's why we hear the 911 callers say Crockett'sville Road. It's kind of the nearest area. And we were there, of course, and here's what we found. Let's watch. About 3 miles from where Stephen Smith's body was found, police used that key found in his pocket to unlock his yellow Chevy Aveo found in this area right here on rural Bamberg Highway in Hampton County. The gas tank door was open and the gas cap was hanging out inside the car. They found the wallet of 19-year-old Stephen Smith.
The car was locked. He had his phone and his key in his pocket, but then he left his wallet. So if you're going to go get gas, why would you leave your wallet in the car?
Now we're in the car to make our way from the location where Stephen's car was found to the location where Stephen's body was found. And it's important to note that Stephen Smith's family does not believe that if Stephen had car trouble, if he ran out of gas, he would not have walked nearly 3 miles along this rural road with his cell phone in his pocket and not made a call to anyone for help.
He had a cell phone in his pocket. It wouldn't be the first time he had to call for somebody, you know.
Stephen's mother told me that she believes investigators did not properly process Stephen's vehicle for fingerprints or DNA or even sift through the items left inside his car. So while investigators at the scene believed that this was a homicide, not a hit and run, the medical examiner later in the day, though, determined that it was a hit and run. So that meant that SLED was out, and this case was exclusively in the hands of the Highway Patrol Multidisciplinary Accident Investigation Team. So, Vinny, that's what the scene looks like. And, of course, it was raining while we were driving in the car, but hopefully you got a sense of the remote, 2-lane highway road. It did take long, of course, to drive. Like I said, around 4 minutes. It's around 3 miles if someone was to walk that. It has been speculated possibly if, in fact, he did abandon his vehicle there, that he maybe would have cut across the woods. You could have taken a shortcut across the woods, kind of in between those 2 red dots right there. We drove south on Bamberg, took that right on Sandy Run Road up to that other location. That gives you a visual of what that area looks like. And at the scene where the 2013 Chevy Aveo was recovered, like I said, it was locked, but they had the keys from still in his pocket. That's how they knew the car was his. As they did sift through some of the items, they took only one thing they noted of interest according to the police file, and that was the wallet inside the vehicle. The wallet, there's a photo of it. It's actually tucked away in between kind of the passenger side door and the seat. That's something that sticks out to us. Kind of an odd spot to put a wallet. Maybe he didn't realize it was there, but that's all they took from inside that car. And I have inquired, where is this vehicle today? Because again, this was not processed like a homicide crime scene. This was something where they just kind of sifted through to find out who the person in the road was. They wanted that identification. So this car is actually in the possession of Sandy Smith today, Vinny.
She still has it. Wow. All right, let's bring back in Steve Peterson, investigative consultant, worked this case. So, was there a conclusion that the car did in fact run out of gas, and that's why it was where it was? Because we see the tank is sort of open and the lid is pulled out.
Well, that's an interesting question. I read in one of the reports, excuse me, that they attempted to start the car at the scene and it wouldn't start, so they towed it. They towed it to the Hampton County Sheriff's Office. When Sandy went back to retrieve it some weeks later at the Sheriff's Office, she was met out in the back parking lot by a sheriff's deputy who had a gas can. And as they approached the car, he immediately poured the gas into the tank. The car started up. So was it out of gas? Well, who knows? They didn't try it in the parking lot of the sheriff's office, when they went to retrieve the car. So I don't know. I don't know if they actually did try to start it and drive it. That seems kind of strange to me. You would think if they were treating it as evidence of any kind, they would just put it on a flatbed and tow it away. They wouldn't move it. They wouldn't drive it. They wouldn't start it up. They wouldn't do that if they were going to treat it as if it had some evidentiary value. So
and it's not like it was somebody's driveway.
Now, everybody's reporting, he would have called somebody. And of course, I'm a father. I've got 3 young, well, they're not young anymore. I've got 3 daughters. And I can tell you, if they ran out of gas at 1:30, 2:30 in the morning in the middle of nowhere, I'd be getting a call. Somebody would be getting a call. My daughter's not going to walk 6 miles.
Right.
Because while Stephen's body was found 3 miles from the car, and less than another 3 miles in the opposite direction was Stephen's father's house. So I am assuming that he was walking to his father's house, and he did make.
That's where he was staying. It was a weeknight, and that's where he stayed on the weeknights. I mean, and I'm sorry if the mom already stated that it happens often, and he would call his sister. The mom already stated that the sister was waiting for him to call. She waited up all night that night, waiting for him to call. So, no, he wouldn't have been walking No. Yeah, I need to get into Mark's Facebook. When we'll be getting into that, because that's going to be, I'll be getting into that when I get into the theories episode, because that's going to be part of it. Me and Kevin, I don't know. Are you still thinking that he's still a possibility in your opinion, Kevin? The whole Mark theory? Yeah. There's more information you might not even know, man, beyond what we've discussed.
So I haven't been keeping up with it outside of what we've been talking about that much.
Oh yeah, there's more.
I wouldn't discount anyone at this point, since I'm
just looking at all the theories that we explored in the theories and interviews. I'm looking at, in my opinion, Mark or the Buster connection.
Yeah.
And that's the only 2 I'm really paying attention to. And I'm telling you right now, both of those people, to me, are equally sketch. Both of them. There's not one more sketch than the other. They're both equal to me.
I would also argue that maybe it was Alec, the Buster's dad, because maybe if Buster and Stephen were together in any way, shape, or form as a couple, or even just fooling around, that might be something that his dad's not crazy about the idea of getting out, and he might have done something as well. Is another one I thought of the other day.
Yeah, I've heard of we won't get into that.
Yeah, I mean it's.
But no, I've heard other stuff. Well, there's certain times. Yeah, but I know what you mean, man. There's other things that were being talked about. And,
I mean, it's just, it's another possibility.
I mean, the sister did admit it. You know what I'm saying? The sister did. She's the one. We weren't talking about it. And then when the sister admitted to it, that's when it was like, okay, now we'll bring it up because it is part of this case. And I know what you're saying. And that is definitely a possibility too, because when you're doing that, you're dealing with some sketchy individuals. And, I don't know if you guys were paying attention to some of the Mark interviews, but do you guys remember Stephanie, Stephen's sister, had actually met Mark, and he was actually showing her photos and such that was on his phone?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was in the Theories and Interviews episode. I'll throw that link up there. Yeah, there was he's not 22, and then sister goes, I swear I just kept telling him he looked like he was 13. So it's yeah, it's It's in the theories and interviews episode. And I do have timestamps in it, so if you want to just get into the meat and potatoes, it's on the timestamp. But yeah, I'm thinking Thursday night because I couldn't do it tonight because of all this stuff that came out. But I'm thinking I'm gonna try and shoot for Thursday night. Maybe we'll do the theories. We're gonna explore the theories in depth and kind of go through each one and see, what seems to like make more sense after we see the photos, after we read the full report. This update from Court TV, we kind of mix it all together and then we kind of go into it. Are you busy Thursday night, man? Are you working? Are you?
Yeah, I work Thursday and Friday this
Are
week. Yeah, I love my schedule. Unless I can find a new job between now and then.
Let me think. Dang.
I'm off this weekend though.
What, Saturday?
Sunday'd be better for me just because Saturday I've got a craft show as soon as I get off work, so I'll be pulling a 28-hour day before I get home, I think it is.
Maybe I'll do a part 1 and a part 2 of the theory, exploring the theories. Because it is going to take up a little bit of time to do. There's 4 of them right now that we can explore, and we'll see. We might actually come up or find out some more as we read through this full report, because there were some names in there I didn't even hear before. So there might be other angles as well. The reason I think Paul, because I heard that Handsome told Alex to do something with Paul, or he would. And I do remember when Paul was dealing with the court case for the boat, he was actually threatening his friends. This is speculation, but he was actually threatening his friends that if they didn't lie about him, like, if you don't tell them that I wasn't driving the boat, then I'm going to tell on everybody. So I wouldn't doubt it if so and so and so and so were, part of it as well, I mean, gosh, think about it. The Pike County massacre in Ohio. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were a family and they all took part in that shit. So you can't say families don't band together and do that kind of crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe,
Well, that's one reason why I was thinking, him and Buster were, say, friends or even more than friends, and his dad wasn't crazy about it. His dad might have done something to break up the relationship. But
I don't know, man. I've heard things that link those people together as well.
And
that's just what I heard, though.
And granted, I feel bad for Buster's situation with everything that's happened in his life recently, so I'm trying to think of other possibilities that don't make him guilty.
Yeah.
But that's the disadvantage of actually having a heart sometimes.
Well, let me ask you this. What would you rather... I'll leave it up to you, man. I'll leave it up to you. Would you rather do the theories tomorrow night, since you have it off, or do your live with your woodworking stuff? It's your decision. You can think about it if you want. If you want me to go live for you tomorrow night for the theories and stuff, I'll do it. I'll do it on my night off, and I'll switch, or maybe I just won't even take it off. I'll do it for you.
I don't want to ask you to take your night off, man.
No,
I mean,
no,
we all need our breaks. That's part of why I was going to take over that, so everybody's still got something to watch every other week.
It's up to you, man.
I
I'll
would
leave
do
it
it
up
every
to you.
week, but work.
No, because I've needed to go through these theories for like a week and a half, and I'm still like haven't been able to. So honestly,
well,
that'll be fine. If you want me to get on tomorrow night, I will, and we will do this since you got it off. and we'll get into these theories no matter what comes out. Fingers crossed, promise. And then, but if you want to do your project and stuff, I don't want to interfere with that, man, and I'll just chill back on the evening, and then we can get into some shit on Sunday.
Yeah, you could always do the part one, or like you said, a 2-part for the theories, because it does sound like there's a lot. And then I can get caught up a little bit on other stuff that was said that I don't know about, and then I can hop on like Sunday night.
Cool. Okay.
If I'm awake Saturday, I'll jump on for a bit, but I got to make sure to remember to keep muting my mic, so if I start snoring, you guys can't try to make a hip or a techno song to my snoring. Because yes, I rewatched all that.
Yeah, we rewatched it.
Or was it a hip hop? I forget.
It was a it was a long night. 4:30 in the morning for this guy right here.
Yeah, which is 5:30 a.m. for me. I think it is.
12. I did it for 12 hours. I was like, dang, but you know what? It needed to be done.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what else. This one's almost done. We got about 10, 12 minutes left of this one. Not much.
Call. He did.
I'm getting
somebody. He asked them to come down. The person that he called said, "I don't have any gas in my car." Person that he called.
What's up?
I said I'm tempting fate and hitting my bed, but I got what I needed. Now I'm leaving it so I don't fall asleep and snore again.
Oh yeah. Don't need you falling asleep. Oops, we got busted on the side. It's got to be weird though. Hearing like when you fell asleep, you know, like, oh damn, I wasn't there. That shit, it was all good. Shit was fun.
Really awkward because after going through and rewatching, it was like, holy crap, I was there dreaming about stuff they were talking about, the jerks.
Oh yeah.
But now I needed my hotspot so I can go downstairs and get some stuff ready on my laser. So
all right, buddy. I'm gonna finish this up and then we'll get into the mom's letter to the FBI, and then we'll get to the graphic warning for a few minutes, and that'll be coming up.
That sounds scary.
Had been taking some type of drugs and alcohol. He wasn't in any condition to drive, and he explained that to Stephen. Stephen said, well, don't worry, don't come. And the person he spoke to on the phone said, well, don't walk, don't. And Stephen insisted he wasn't going to walk to where he was going. But the guy said, I could hear cars in the background. So I knew he was walking the road. I knew he was out there. And as maybe even Chanley experienced out in that area, you don't get a lot of good phone reception. So even while I was out there, I had spots where my phone would drop calls and I couldn't make contact with anybody. So that's not unusual either for that rural part of the county.
So let me ask you this, Steve. So how was that information determined that he did call someone? Did someone go through his entire, his phone and go through his phone records? Or was it someone who received the call who came forward and said, yeah, he called me?
Well, it was a combination of both. Because what happened was this case ping-ponged back and forth from agency to agency, right? We discussed that the other day. They get the call, there's a body in the road, the sheriff's office goes out there, Hampton County Sheriff's Office goes out there with the coroner. And as we know, coroners in South Carolina are a political position. They really don't have much of any medical training or background. They go out there, they pronounce the body dead. One of the deputy coroners looks at Stephen and says, oh my God, that's a gunshot. They call SLED. SLED comes out. The highway patrol was en route. SLED calls the highway patrol. Don't come out. It's a murder. It's a gunshot. We got this. SLED, I think one of the troopers was already there by the time, but the rest of the troopers don't come out. SLED takes the case. They have the body brought by the coroner to the medical examiner in Charleston. They do an autopsy there. They pronounce it death by blunt force trauma associated perhaps with a vehicle strike. SLED goes, not a murder, not our case. Tries to gives the case back to the highway patrol. Coroner, and I'm assuming it's the coroner, to be honest with you, I didn't follow up on this part of it. Then Stephen's body is transferred from Charleston to the funeral home, where he subsequently prepared for the funeral. So by the time the highway patrol actually gets involved, Stephen's body, all his clothes, all the evidence stuff has been shifted to a couple of different agencies. There's no chain of custody that's complete. And the funeral parlor has all this stuff. So that's when the Highway Patrol picks up and starts what they immediately begin to question if it's a car accident. They start off believing this is a murder. This is not a car accident. And what I was never able to get clear is, well, if you're convinced it's a murder, what are you guys doing hanging on to this case?
Wow.
They claim that the county sheriff's office didn't want it and SLED wouldn't take it. SLED saying, no one ever asked us to take it. You know, so it's let's point the fingers at everybody came.
Not a good
So that's what
situation
happens,
when you're trying to get to the truth. Not a good situation.
No. But they did look at his phone tolls. They looked at his phone records from that particular phone, and they saw what numbers were called. And that person did come forward and say, yes, he called me. And there was an interview done. There was a telephonic interview, and I believe there was a face-to-face interview, of which I heard both of the calls. Now, remember, I didn't get involved until like Murtaugh or the Maggie and Paul murders. So by the time I get involved, it's already 5 years later. And this thing has sat for 4.5 years cold.
All right, Steve, stay with us. Chanley Painter still with us. When we come back, new details about the forensic testing on Stephen's clothing. We'll take a look at that when we return.
Their music is always so loud. Yeah, I'm thinking about, because it is 110 pages, and I don't want anybody to have to stay up crazy late. So, and Pam did send me a really good video, and it's about 30 minutes. So that way nobody has to stay up crazy late. And then tomorrow night, since I'll have the night off, I can just come home and get on StreamYard and do my own complete read through of the 110 page report. And then at the end of the night, when I'm done with it, then I'll just post it as its own separate video and then just kind of put it out in the rotation. And then that way, I think I should start doing that, honestly, because then if I ever need to go back to those things, then I can just go back to that specific video instead of trying to find out what show it was in, where at in the show, and going from there. I think it might be a pretty good idea for me to start doing that, like maybe on my nights off or afternoons off or whatever, just kind of make my own read-through videos where it's kind of just me talking, and then just kind of posting them out there, not like I'm going live. Hell, maybe even some of them I'll post where I'll sit back and watch it with everybody and just sit back and chit chat. Yeah, maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Do that whole read through tomorrow, and then I can watch Kevin. I'll probably be done with it. When are you going live tomorrow, Kevin?
Probably around 6-7 o'clock.
No, actually, maybe I'll watch your live first and then work on it. So I'll probably end up posting it at about 10 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about trying to at least get everything ready to where I can go live within a half hour when you usually start, but I'm probably going to try to be a touch earlier.
Oh, yeah.
It also depends on if I get some information I need or not, because that's going to depend on what I actually do.
What you make?
Yeah. Because I've got 2 ideas, and my backup idea is just going out to the lathe and doing another resin bowl and seeing if I can blow that one up in my face too, live on. Let everybody laugh at me about that one. But
well, next week we won't be working overtime anymore, so I'll actually be getting home an hour earlier. And whenever that does start, I'll actually be getting on at 6:30 Central instead of 7. So I'll be once the overtime's done, I'll be getting on a half an hour earlier.
Okay.
That way, because I know it, because I'm central, so it's not as late for me. And most people that watch are either in the other side of the globe. I mean, we got Cassie and a couple others that are a couple hours behind me, but mostly everybody's in the Eastern time zone. And I know these shows get late, so if I'm not working overtime, then I'm definitely gonna be starting a half hour earlier as well. So what you're saying, 6:30, something like that?
Yeah, probably. I'm hoping for 6 o'clock, which would be 7.
Okay.
I think I'm in Eastern. I don't know. Time zones confuse me. Maybe
Yeah.
it's be on the same time no matter what.
So I'll do that. Yeah. I'll fucking I'll work on that after you're done with your show. I'll hang out, give you some support. You got to make me a mod, bro. I'll hang out, give you some support, and then after that I'll work on that read through and I'll post it at the end of the night and check it out if you guys want to. It's probably going to be a couple hours, I would imagine. It's 110 pages. I'm going to read through the whole thing, SRB, even if it's stuff that we've heard already. Because you never know. Maybe somebody hasn't yet. So my alarm didn't go off tonight. I know I've been hearing notification issues with people. I've been hearing, and I've noticed, I'll drop a sub or two each day. And it's like, I hear YouTube's unsubbing people and all that. So, you know what? The only thing I can say is if you're not getting a notification, the thing I used to mention before was just unsubbing me and then subbing me again. And then that somehow fixes it. So if you ever get any issues where you're not getting notifications, just unsub me and then sub me back.
There's also a bell icon somewhere on your page that make sure it says set to get all notifications.
Yeah.
That'll notify you every time he puts anything out.
And I don't do it like crazy. So
yeah, and I was going through some settings the other day and found totally forgot about that part of it and was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That might be useful information to have. So
yeah,
because I
think it did it to me for you, man, because I haven't been getting notifications for you now.
Yeah, well, because I know there for a while, I knew, like, right after you hit me up initially, before I really got involved, I never got notifications. And then one day I happened to come across the show, so I hopped in and was going through it. Because after a couple weeks, it was like I'm tired of trying to remember when his show's going on and when it isn't. And I went in and started, and that's when I remembered about that setting, and I just set it to all. And now I get notified of everything because I'd rather. Like you say, you don't put a lot out, but I would still rather get, hey, Evil CJ put out a short. Evil CJ put out a video. He put out a video. When when you do 2 or 3 in a row, I'd rather get those 3 than never know when you're doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like that's what's going on. Everybody's having issues, I guess. I am too.
It could also just be YouTube.
It does it. It's been buggy for a couple months now, but it'll fix itself. I just don't want people thinking that I'm like unsubbing people or something because I don't
think you can unsub people. You'd have to block them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I haven't done that to anybody. So.
Yeah, I know. I mean, heck, you still let me come in. So if you're not blocking me, you're definitely going to block anybody.
Yeah, I just block Marshmallow. That's it. and since I changed it to sub only for 5 minutes or more, now all them sex bots don't come in, so that's nice too. Love long time.
Wait, so you don't want sex box in here? But okay.
What?
So you don't want sex box in here, but you let a sexy dude in here. Okay, I'm confused now.
Yeah, sex bots. Sex bots try and take my chat.
This is a spot in Hampton County where
just Marshmallow
body was found in 2015. There's now a memorial to honor his memory at this location. This is an area that is remote. There's a cornfield on one side of the highway. There's trees on this side of the highway. And here you can see it's only about 20 yards from the nearest home.
Yep.
Chanley Painter returning to the scene of the death of Stephen Smith down in the Low Country, South Carolina. She's with us now in Hampton, South Carolina. Chanley, what did we learn about, and what did you learn from the new documents regarding clothing that Stephen Smith was wearing when he died, when he was found?
Yeah, we've been working hard really all weekend trying to sort through the original 2015 case file into Stephen Smith's death. And one of those forensic state crime lab sheets kind of reveal how they took the clothes into possession and then what they were testing on the clothes that Stephen Smith had on. So here's a look at some of the results from SLED. The black Nike short sleeve shirt he was wearing, ultimately no automotive paint found on it. The pair of khaki cargo shorts he was wearing, no automotive paint found on it. And then, of course, the Airspeed footwear shoes still on his feet, no automotive paint found. And there was autopsy debris collected from those items. And there were several single-layer metallic blue paint chips found due to the condition.
I just want to pause it real quick. Pam, me too. I think it's a very important key, and I will go into that on my theories episode. Trust me. I think we're going to be thinking some of the same thing too, Pam. And if you'd ever be comfortable hopping up on panel, let me know, and I'll make sure that we do a show that night too. Okay, Pam?
Of the sample, no make, model, and year information was able to be obtained. Those paint chips were suitable, though, for comparison should a standard become available. So again, this is being processed as a hit and run. They're trying to match this with some sort of a vehicle. This report goes on in the Highway Patrol case notes to talk about how investigator J.D. James spoke to SLED agent Michael Muscall, and this is what he finds out. He says Mr. Muscall advised that he located around 10 1mm single-layer blue paint chips. Mr. Muscall advised that he needed more paint layer evidence to pinpoint a particular vehicle. Mr. Muscall advised that the PDQ database indicated the paint could be from an industrial tool, a dumpster, or a signpost. Mr. Muscall added that Toyota used this particular paint on its vehicles from 1982 to 1988. So again, they still presumably have these items of clothing, and hopefully, now that SLED is investigating as a homicide, more testing than it can be done as far as DNA, stains, other type of information can be gleaned from this clothing, because as of right now, it doesn't seem like there was sufficient amount of evidence to connect it to a vehicle.
So just a quick follow-up on that. So where exactly were those paint chips located? Where were they found?
Debris. So debris collected from items 2 through 4, that would be the shirt, the shorts, and the footwear shoes were collected from him.
Okay,
as
so it's
he
debris.
was in autopsy.
Got that. Maybe when you lay it out, it falls down, you find it. Now, there were some other tests done as well, right?
There were other tests. This also stood out in that case file, Vinny. First, he was swabbed for gunshot residue. Remember when I told you earlier in your show that the first responders, particularly the EMS and coroner, believed that because his injuries were to one side of his head, it seemed like that was the only spot. They believed it may have been a gunshot wound, and so they took GSR from him. And I'm learning tonight from the attorney that represents Sandy Smith that there was no gunshot residue on Stephen Smith, according to her attorney. Also tested, or what stands out here, a rape kit was done on Stephen Smith as well. And I'm learning that from Sandy Smith's current attorney, that was never processed, Vinny. So those were some of the other testing done.
And
all right, Chanley, thank you. Let's bring back.
And I want to add to that, it wasn't processed. There was no chain of custody for his phone. There's no record of the chain of custody from his phone. Thank God they got it unlocked, but here's the thing. They don't know. It went somewhere, because when they went back to try and go get the phone, to try and get into it because they couldn't get into it at first. When they went to try and go back to get the phone, they didn't even know where the phone was at because they didn't even know who signed it out. They didn't have anybody having to sign any. They didn't. So who knows what was done to that phone? Because you got to remember, when Randy was there offering pro bono, he wanted all the passwords. He wanted the tablet, the phones, passwords, social media.
That's ridiculous. You can't do that and not have a chain of custody.
Yeah, man. When I read through this full report, I believe it's in that full report. But
That's
yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. You know, the more I hear about this, the more my heart breaks for his mom. They
it's going to be
absolutely did not
very
do their
hard.
job right.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
It's
like
going to be
everybody
very hard.
I feel like everybody that was involved in not doing this brought up on trial after this.
Yep,
it's been how long? 7 or 8 years for her, and
8 years.
they all screwed up that bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yeah,
that's
they were all.
ridiculous.
Well, Alec Murdaugh represented a state trooper. He's one of the people that he ripped off. I think he got the state trooper for like, what was it, $800,000 or something? Does anybody remember for sure? It was one of the smaller ones, but a decent chunk. But yeah, he ripped off and I think he was one of them that was involved in the investigation. He represented him and won a settlement, but then kept the money. Yeah.
Steve Peterson, investigative consultant, worked this case back in 2021, and tried to put.
I just said that's ridiculous.
I think it was like $800,000. Oh, this guy is up here again. Oh boy, what is he going to say now?
Some pieces together in all of this because again,
what now, buddy?
This is not the way you investigate something. The way it was originally investigated by law enforcement, back and forth, different agencies. What are your thoughts about the paint chips, Steve?
Well, the paint chips could mean something, and then again, they could mean nothing. You know, we thought perhaps one of the theories was perhaps an object was stuck out the car window.
I'm already gonna stop it. Paint chips on a freaking person means something, dude. What do you mean it don't mean nothing? Paint chips on skin, shirt, clothing, on your body means something. It means something took place, not nothing.
Yeah, or you were doing something like dumpster diving. I don't see him doing that because
I just don't get this guy. I like his clock, though. I like that clock in the background. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like as if you were going to, for the lack of a better example, joust.
It's a nice clock.
You would have a stick or a baseball bat or some type of object that you go out. Because my first theory was they were just messing with Steven. They were kind of goofing around. And that's why Steven was in the road, because he knew these people, wasn't afraid of them. And then these guys took it to the next level. And before you know it, Steven struck, falls down, and it's horrible. People involved are terrified. They flee the area. That was one theory. So I spoke with the trooper who did a lot of the evidence collection and interviews. I spoke with him personally. And it was interesting to me because he's no longer a trooper, but he also asked me some bizarre questions. And then it seemed like he was interested in selling his story more than telling his story. So everybody here seemed to have an agenda. You know, there was shortly after the Stephen Smith accident, maybe 2 years, I guess 3 years, 2.5 years after Stephen was killed, you know, a trooper was in a horrible accident. And Alec Murdaugh represented him. Then he cheated him out of all the money that he won from the suit. So, I mean, everybody seems to have an agenda or a reason for being involved in this thing. And it's just difficult to see where people's own personal bias and agendas led them. Nobody interviewed Buster. I tried, but they wouldn't let me do it because it was right after the Paul and Maggie murder. So they were not allowing Buster Murtaugh to talk to anybody. So I couldn't interview him. The Highway Patrol, who was running this thing because no one else would, they never interviewed him. There are a lot of dropped leads, a lot of questions not asked, a lot of answers still left out there that I was trying to get. I went as far as to interview the farmer who owns the cornfield next to the accident scene to see if perhaps when he was harvesting, when he was plowing his fields, did he come across a bat? Did he come across any type of stick, any type of object that could be used as a weapon? Of course, he said no, but he did have a lot of people over the next year or two, especially after the Murtaugh murders, suddenly show up in his field with metal detectors and looking around. And it was just really bizarre.
Wow.
And a lot of it is just people flocking to the scene. You know, they flock to all this when there's a lot of
attention.
Exposure.
Yeah.
Oh, dang, that thing cut off real quick. Ooh. All right, there we go.
You probably clogged their BS filter.
Dang. Usually they give you a, thanks for watching. Please hit subscribe.
Like I said, you probably clogged their BS filter, so they just cut it off.
Not today. Not today. All right. So we're going to go into this letter from Sandy Smith. Let me change the screen here. Let's see. We'll go... Actually, we'll just go like this. Nah, we'll go like this. All right, so this is the letter from the mother to the FBI. This is dated September 28th, 2016. Thank you, ATS. I appreciate that. And this came from fitznews.com. So I'll put the link in chat if anybody would like to use that. Okay. Dear Sir or Madame, my family is in desperate need of your help. This is dated September 28th, 2016. So this is about a year and a couple months after his passing. My family is in desperate need of your help. My 19-year-old son, Stephen Nicholas Smith, was murdered on July 8th, 2015 in Hampton County, South Carolina. It has been apparent from the first week of this investigation that authorities are covering up critical evidence, and we no longer know who to trust. Stephen's father, my ex-husband who is now deceased, and I were first told that our son was shot to death after running out of gas in the early hours of the morning and exiting his vehicle. Later that day, we were told it was a hit and run. Finally, investigators determined he was beaten to death. He was attacked so violently that the entire side of his face was rebuilt with putty for his funeral. Oh my gosh. That's heartbreaking to even read, let alone say or see. Hampton investigators asked us at the time to continue to publicly say it was a hit and run. They claim they didn't want the killer to know they were looking for him. There have been no named suspects. The first call my family received after the murder was from authorities notifying us of Stephen's death. The second came very quickly the same morning from solicitor Randolph Murdaugh. In fact, he called my ex-husband's cell phone as we waited in the police station for a positive identification. He was calling before there was even a positive ID? He said he had heard of the case and was interested in working pro bono as a liaison between the family and investigators. Stephen's father accepted the offer, although we were unsure why Mr. Murdaugh wanted to help us. We also weren't sure how he found out so quickly, even before it was confirmed to be our son. Surprisingly, after just a few interactions, Mr. Murdaugh stopped returning our calls. So he already did what he needed to do, huh?
What it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I didn't know he accepted it because I had thought she said this whole time that he didn't. So I'm surprised that I'm reading this. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we see interviews where she said he didn't accept the offer? And those are recent.
Remember.
Those are recent interviews too, like within the last month or year.
She might have said she didn't, but I don't remember her saying anything about him.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm remembering her saying he didn't as well. Within days of our son's death, Stephen's twin sister Stephanie was approached multiple times by peers telling her that Solicitor Murdaugh's nephews were responsible. As a family, it was suspicious to us since he had taken such an immediate interest in the case and then became unreachable so quickly. And if you remember, Randy denies any involvement in any of this and denies even offering the help to the family. Randy denies all of these things took place. These suspicions reached new heights weeks later when Stephen's older brother Chris was approached at work by a young man he did not know. This person told Chris he was present when Stephen was murdered and witnessed everything firsthand. He said that Solicitor Murdaugh's nephew, Buster Murdaugh, who graduated with Stephen, beat Stephen to death with a baseball bat. He claimed it was because Stephen was gay. Stephen was in fact gay, she states. The witness said they were out smashing mailboxes when they came upon Stephen, and Buster seized the opportunity. The young man told Chris that Buster threatened to kill him if he ever spoke up. This information was given to investigators, but nothing has come out of it. In reviewing a copy of the 911 dispatch log, which I have enclosed, I found that the first responding officer, Michael Bridges, arrived on the scene within a minute of 911's dispatch, even though in the Hampton County Sheriff's Office incident report, he claimed to have driven around for a while trying to find my son's body. Interesting. The second officer, Jason Eubanks, arrived within 2 minutes. This is suspicious to me because the area where my son was placed is extremely rural. Cops do not patrol that area frequently, and it's not likely an officer, much less two, would coincidentally be patrolling there prior to 5 a.m. They had to be in that area at that time for a reason. I suspect they were there because they already knew Stephen was there, and I suspect the Murdaughs were the ones who told them.
Or it could just be a good place to take a nap, and they heard the call over the radio and were already out that way.
I doubt that. I don't know. That's a big open area.
Just saying, small town, very quiet night. I know law enforcement has been known to do it.
Yeah.
I know when my dad was in the PD, he was on midnights, and they had a couple guys that any chance they got, they'd be off.
Well,
they had a couple places they'd go to take a nap, and
yeah, I mean,
it was usually out in the middle of nowhere.
It happens with any job, though. There's always people trying to take naps here and there.
I'd be lying if I said I've never done it.
Yeah. The Murdaughs are probably the most prominent family in Hampton County.
I cracked them up.
Stephen had on more than one occasion mentioned to friends and his twin sister that he was involved romantically with someone from a prominent family in the county who was hiding his sexuality. He said that it would shock people to know this person was gay. We suspect this could be the young man Stephen was referring to, though he never named him. At the beginning of the investigation, officers told us they would not have access to Stephen's text messages for approximately a year. They claim they would have to send the phone to Apple to overdrive the security features. We found out months later the phone had never been sent to Apple. Often, investigators claimed it was uncertain which department had the phone. They have since produced the phone, which they still have not sent to Apple, but still claim they cannot access it. We feared then and still fear now that they have and will continue to delete critical information from the phone. It has already been over a year and we have no knowledge of who Stephen interacted with by phone call or text prior to his murder. Since the murder, Buster has gotten rid of his old vehicle, which is critical because according to the witness who approached Chris, they were traveling in Buster's old vehicle that night. It's also critical because Stephen was found 3 miles from his vehicle on the morning of his murder. There was no blood splatter on the crime scene despite his brutal beating, which makes it clear he was transported to that site. We believe there is DNA in Buster's old vehicle. I think it's important to note that Stephen's wallet was found in his own vehicle and his gas cap was open, further suggesting he did not leave willingly. Stephen was very skittish and would never have walked down the road in the dark, and it's not likely he would have opened his car door to accept assistance from somebody he did not know, especially alone on a dark country road. He was even known to walk through the woods during the day to stay out of sight. His autopsy shows his toxicology reports were negative for drugs and alcohol, so I have no reason to believe he would have done something so completely out of his character. Very important. Since Stephen was placed on the highway, it became a highway patrol investigation. We thought this was beneficial to Stephen since local authorities obviously have their own agenda. However, this does not help our case at all. This case was mysteriously bounced from investigator to investigator without reasons or notification. It would repeatedly get to a certain point, then the assigned investigators would bow out, perhaps not wanting to take on Solicitor Murdaugh. I was approached in September 2015 by a gentleman claiming to know about a criminal case decades ago that was swept under a rug to protect a different member of the Murdaugh family. This came as no surprise to me. I see history repeating itself with my son. No one here is trying to solve our case. Therefore, I contacted Governor Nikki Haley that same month with a plea for help. I wrote her a letter telling her basically word for word the story I have just explained to you. She responded promptly and assigned the case to new investigators, and while it appeared to be the answer to our prayers, very little progress has been made, and they say they have exhausted their leads. I cannot fathom how that is possible. Our concerns regarding Solicitor Murdaugh and his family have not been investigated despite witness accounts, which include an alleged conversation between a schoolmate of Buster's little brother Paul and school officials. Interesting. I was told he claimed to have knowledge of the murder and implicated Buster as the murderer. Those school officials were said to have discussed the statement with the student's family, not police. We have heard no further follow-up to this situation. Interestingly, according to my source, Paul was transferred from that school to a private school after the alleged statement. I didn't know about that.
This just gets fishier by the day and by the release.
Paul implicated. Now this is from Sandy Smith. This is what she was hearing. Wow. We believe Solicitor Murdaugh's influence extends to the pathologist, Dr. Aaron Presnell of MUSC, which I feel the same damn way, who performed Stephen's autopsy, though Deputy Coroner Kelly Green and SLED Agent Brittany Burke, who were both present for the autopsy, have gone on the record to state that neither made any mention of a car striking Stephen. Dr. Presnell ruled his death a hit and run. She was combative with the Highway Department investigator Todd Proctor regarding her findings. When he pointed out that the only trauma was to Stephen's head, he asked how she came to that conclusion, and she said it was because he was found in the road. That alone was her reason. She insisted hit and run, despite the fact that neither his injuries nor the crime scene support that finding. The coroner disagrees with her determination, and it is documented multiple times in this case file that there were no skid marks or vehicle debris consistent with a hit and run at the crime scene. Dr. Presnell herself confirmed to investigator Proctor that she found no glass or other fragments on the body to suggest a hit and run. It is simply not possible that a vehicle struck solely his head. Coroner Ernie Washington informed investigator Proctor that Dr. Presnell told him she would, quote, change her report to read however he wanted it, unquote, which she should have been fired then. Copies of investigator Proctor's summary notes, which document his discussions with Dr. Presnell and Coroner Washington, are enclosed. We desperately need your help. This investigation is being deliberately derailed. We need someone to hold the investigators accountable and access Stephen's phone. Solicitor Murdaugh is widely known, and it appears this is playing to his advantage. We need someone who doesn't care about his family name to take this case seriously. In July 2016, I wrote to Attorney General Loretta Lynch in the hopes that she could and would help us, but there has been no response. And then she basically enclosed some documents. We also have some new information which we discovered in the past few weeks that we feel is critical to this case. However, I no longer trust the investigators here. I am holding it as I await your response. And then where she could be reached. Thank you for that, SRB.
That just makes my heart break for his mom that much more. I couldn't imagine not being able to trust local law enforcement.
Existing in that toxicity.
Yeah, I mean...
Basically.
You know, I know I've said multiple times I don't think Alec actually committed the murders that he's in jail for now. But he absolutely is where he should be with everything he's pulled. This is...
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah, it makes you think. There's some things in there I didn't even realize. Like I didn't know that. Is it? I mean, that's just what she heard about him implicating Buster, and then all of a sudden he's getting transferred. I wonder when the transfer took place. If anybody wants to see if they can find that out for a future episode. When did he get transferred? When did he get transferred according to the date of the crime? Like, when did that actually take place? And it makes me wonder even more about the whole, if you don't tell everybody I wasn't driving the boat, then I'm going to tell on everybody. Once again, everyone else is lying and Murdaughs are innocent. I would never turn my back down there. Nope. Grew up in a small town I'm kind of sleeping.
Yeah, it's definitely not a family I'd want to be associated with if I was there.
Right.
You can get in, be friends with them one day, and then they do something. They're going to hang you out to dry the next day like you're nothing.
Speaking of, since we're transitioning, I want to click on the GoFundMe just to promote that real quick. Look at this amount, everybody. 112,000, about to hit 113.
Good.
Let's switch back to my new layout that I made custom. I'm trying to make it so that way when I do the comments, it doesn't block people in chat or on the panel. Yeah, there's the GoFundMe, 112,000 for that. And also, the hate crime bill, where are we at for signatures? 3,371. Suzanne Andrews, we love her on this show. She always needs more love. Suzanne Andrews doesn't get enough love. Oh, shoot. I always got to remember, I got to cut off the HTTPS thing. Otherwise, it doesn't fit in YouTube's fucking...
Yeah.
It's too many characters. There we go. The hate crime bill.
It's all right. I feel for it. I'm too much of a character for most people, too.
I got to reach out to her, too, because I'm wondering when this Senate thing is taking place. I need to reach out to her and see how that went, or if it's coming up or what. It passed through the House, and I know it's waiting, or maybe it went through on the Senate. I'm not sure. I need to reach out to her tonight or tomorrow and see what's the update on that. And yeah, she's, I just, they show the headstone. You know what I'm saying? They show the headstone in all these shows and all these episodes, right? Even right, right here, they always show this beautiful headstone, okay? And I just want to say that, thank you so much, Suzanne, for doing that fundraiser out of the kindness of your own heart. And when we had her on the show, she, her dad had the fundraiser at his location, a business he owned. They raised over $40,000. And they were not only able to get this beautiful headstone. I mean, look at that. It's got like an ocean and all sorts of stuff on it. I mean, come on. And then they got the father a headstone as well. And I never hear enough love being shown to Suzanne Andrews. She's the one doing this hate crime bill in South Carolina. So if you haven't signed it yet, please click on the link. Sign it real quick. She already let us know when we interviewed her that it's got a buggy thing on the side about donation. You don't have to worry about it. They're not necessarily asking for donation. They just want your signatures. They need your signatures. It's passing through the House. It keeps getting blocked in the Senate. If you live in South Carolina, you don't have to live in South Carolina to sign it if you ain't signed it yet. They just need signatures. If you live in South Carolina, then contact your local senator and let them know that this bill needs to be passed. This is one of only 2 states that do not have a hate crime bill.
Which to me just
one of 2.
My mind.
Right?
How in 2023 do you
What's
not
up, Grizz?
have something for hate crime?
That's what I'm saying.
And
2023, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't get it.
My mind.
And it's a hate crime bill. It covers
it
covers hate. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't cover one thing. It's hate.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter race, gender, or sexual orientation. It's if it's something that's hateful done to somebody else,
It's ridiculous. It should have way more signatures than this, honestly. 3,000 is not enough. It should be hitting 5 a long time ago, so
yeah, I agree.
definitely. Just spread it. Spread the word. It don't take but a second to sign it real quick cuz it's a hate crime bill. I mean, who doesn't want a hate crime bill, honestly? You know what I'm saying? All hate is
People don't want
wrong.
to be
That's
haters.
right. All hate is wrong.
And
It doesn't
people that want
matter
to be
who the
haters are
fuck
the only
it's
ones
for.
that don't want it.
Right? So I just wanted to share those real quick, and I wanted to throw out some more love to Suzanne Andrews because I'm sorry, I'm tired of her not getting the love that she deserves. And if she ain't gonna get it from out there, she's gonna get it from this guy. So
yeah, and she was
that's how it is.
honestly from the interview. I wasn't really able to talk a whole lot, but just from listening, she's an amazing human being.
She is a beautiful soul, my friend.
I totally agree, and I don't say that often about people, but you know, I had a warm fuzzy feeling while I was at work, and that's a hard place for me to go to warm fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, I mean it's like I say this. It's like, you know, you got the ocean and you got the sand, and and she is a diamond amongst sand pebbles.
Yeah.
You know, she's that highly pressurized, beautiful soul amongst all of the regular.
Yeah,
just
I like
the little sand pebbles.
I like the saying I'm stealing from one of my favorite TV shows.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
a soul like her is like finding a grain of salt on the beach.
What TV show was that?
The new Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, I don't. The what? The what?
I'm a sci-fi nerd, dude. I love my sci-fi shows. But
is that with MacGyver?
No.
Is MacGyver like the head dude on that show?
No, that was Stargate SG-1. No,
Stargate. Oh,
yeah.
I don't know.
Dude, I love sci-fi. So I know way too much about it. But basically,
what? You're talking another language to me? What?
It's different shows, but no. Basically, they were flying through space trying to find water, and as hard as it is to find, the guy that's second in command of the entire human race looks at the commanding officer and says, "Yeah, it's like trying to find a grain of salt on the beach, because you know you got that one salt grain and then all the sand grains. It's almost impossible to find." So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. A diamond, because the diamond really is made out of pressurized
carbon.
Pressurized, you know,
carbon. Pressurized carbon.
Yeah,
I know.
What's on the beach?
I feel bad for throwing you off, but sometimes it's just funny. Especially when I don't mean to.
Whatever, man.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Mr. Picture that looks like a chicken bone with burnt cotton on it. What's up, man? What happened to your other picture where you had your mask and shit? Why does it keep going back to that one? That one scares me when I put this screen up like this, man. I don't notice it when we're watching shit, and then all of a sudden I do this shit, and then I'm like, oh damn. So chicken bone with burnt cotton.
You know, you say that freaks you out, and I always want to go and buy a ghillie suit and get all camped up.
It does kind of look like a ghillie suit. It does look like a ghillie suit.
Yeah, I put that over my head, then when I lay down on my shop floor, you'll never find me.
Oh yeah, were you up on panel, Grizz? Jinx. Yeah, glad you guys hopped in. Yeah, we just did the letter to the FBI from Stephen Smith's mom. That was, whoa, where'd he go? Oh, he's gonna switch his picture. We just did the read through of that. So yeah, it's good to see you. Thanks for hopping in, everybody. Oh, device. Oh, there we go. Nah, it's the same one. What's going on? Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Oh, he bounced out. Is he back?
I was trying to
Are you
change my.
back?
Yeah, I was trying to change my avatar so it didn't scare you, and then it kicked me out.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can go ahead and bounce out and change it and then hop back up if you want. We're going to watch this episode from Watts the Obsession. This is a link that Pam sent me. And it's got some interesting information. I wasn't able to totally check it out, but for a minute. But Pam says it's got some crazy, crazy info. It's all good, SRB. We're at the 2.5 hour minute mark, so whenever you want to check the rest of it out tomorrow, just hop back on there, and we'll be checking out this Watch the Obsession video. Let me double check to see what the title is. And thank you, Pam, for the link. I don't think we've ever, I think maybe we've watched one video from this channel before, and it was a long, long, long time ago. But I do appreciate the content from the creator, and I always like exploring other people's ideas and thoughts and opinions too. This one is about the R-Kit, no results, coroner fired, SS case file. So we'll check that video out here in a second. Thank you, everybody. If you want to hit the like it, if you haven't yet, definitely be watching the replay or pregame by. Thank you, Jinx. Appreciate it. Getting close. Well, like I said, the overtime will probably be ending next week, and when that does, I'll be getting on a half an hour earlier every night. I'll be getting on at 6:30, 7:30 Eastern. All right. So let me go ahead and switch to this, and then we'll check out this video. Again, this is Watts the Obsession. I'll go ahead and put that up there. How's your night, Jinx and Grizz? How you guys doing tonight? No, I'll probably be, I don't know. We'll see what's up with Thursday. I got to get to these theories, though. But I'll be doing a read through. We're not going to be able to get to the MAIT full report. So tomorrow night on my night off, Kevin Kraft is going to be doing a live for his new woodworking project that he's got. And then I'm going to be, and then what?
Then hopefully not dying, because it's probably going to be a resin bowl.
Yeah, you need to, you need to, you need to find some kind of like, so like say you're working on one project and it's not going to interfere having some kind of fucking wall between you and that shit. Then you can have like, hey, this is a project I can have that temporary wall on, so,
well,
shit, try that out.
Are you trying to say I need to practice building a wooden wall so I can build that wall around the house you were talking about last night? Is that what you're setting us up for?
No, man. Even Grizz was like saying on Friday night, you need to get a riot shield, bro.
Yeah, that was funny. I'm not gonna lie.
You need to get a riot shield too, man.
That's back when it still hurt to laugh.
You're lucky you didn't get. Ooh, I mean yeah. But no, he'll be doing a live tomorrow night, and then I'm gonna be instead I'm gonna be doing my own full read through offline of the full 110-page report, and then I'll be posting that at the end of the night tomorrow night, but it'll just be its own video. Good night, Kib Kitty. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you guys want to check out tomorrow, just go to the 2.5 hour minute mark, and then you can kind of chill back and watch this. Yeah, we're having a good night. Thank you, Jinx. Hope you are too. All right, let's get into this video here. Put up my new layout. Kabam.
Kabam.
Kabam. Boom goes the bowl.
I'm never gonna live this one down. You're never gonna live that one down.
You need to put that other upload up there, man. You need to put that other upload up there.
Yeah, as soon as I'm done sorting my pen blanks, I'm going to.
For real.
Let's talk about Steven Smith.
For real, man. Yeah, with that thumbnail too, man. It sticks out.
In the past 72 hours or so, and today is March.
Damn, this thing's loud. Let me rewind it a little bit here. Oh, come on, YouTube. turn the closed captioning on. I'm going to turn it down just a skosh.
Did you want loud? I can do loud.
What do you mean? No, we're trying to do a show, man.
You just said loud.
Let's talk about Stephen Smith. In the past 72 hours or so, and today is March 25th, 2023.
I'll just give you a heads up. Most people have earbuds and they don't want that shit going on in their ears. You know what I'm saying? Clink, clink, clink. That shit might hurt. You got to think about people with the earbuds on.
There's been a lot of talk about a rape kit being ordered. We've heard a lot of different language, but being ordered for Stephen Smith, although his death was ruled to be an accident at the time of the initial death investigation. We do know that, and today is March 25th, 2023. A few days ago, his death was officially ruled to be a homicide. Now, initially, they said Stephen's cause of death was due to a vehicular accident, so this really doesn't make any sense. The sources of this rape kit being ordered, how do we know that really happened? Do we know that for sure? Is there anything concrete that we can look at, that we can read, that we can feel, we can touch, we can smell? So I know this actually happened and it's not just some true crime drama. Guess what? I found what we are looking for, and I'm going to lay all of the details and documentation out here in this video. And oh my, after what has been said and what has been discussed over the past few days regarding the death of Stephen Smith and the issue of this rape kit, like, wow. Now, I just want to get this clear straight away. Apparently, the rape kit was ordered and it was administered. However, it was never tested. Let's talk about this one. I think it'll be helpful to make some clarifications regarding things that have been said on various cable news network and YouTube channels over the past few days about Stephen Smith and the rape kit. So first of all, retired Corporal Duncan, who appeared on News Nation, and he actually is the only investigator or retired investigator that I actually heard or saw interviewed talking about this issue of the rape kit and several other issues. He was in the initial investigation, and he played a major role in a key event that happened that we're going to get to in just a minute. But I wanted to make that clarification straight away so we're all on the same page. Let's move on to Stephen Smith's case file. His case file is absolutely replete with questions that need to be asked. It was just earlier this week that SLED reopened the investigation into the death of Stephen Smith, and that was based on information that they found when they were investigating the double murders of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh. I think it's safe to say that the million-dollar question is, what piece of information or what pieces of information prompted them to reopen this case? Not too much is going to be discussed in this video, or that can be discussed involving the Murdaughs or Alex Murdaugh has any good news to it. But the good news here is, with the news of this week, instead of reopening the investigation, Sandy Smith, who's Stephen Smith's mom, finally has hope that he's going to receive justice. She says, I've been waiting on this for 2,174 days. Thank you, God. And that is, of course, how long it's been since her son's death should have been investigated. In order for us to figure out what the heck was going on with this recent explosion of everybody talking about this hit and some other details that may or may not be accurate, we have to work through some of the details of what happened to Stephen Smith. On July 8th, 2015, Stephen was found dead in the middle of Sandy Run Road with and this is hard, a 7.25-inch gaping hole on the right side of his forehead and no other major injuries. Wow. Todd Proctor, who is a former South Carolina Highway Patrol investigator, said that it looked like Stephen's body was placed in the middle of the road, and he is not the only responder who made such a statement about Stephen's body's placement. In order to understand what happened to Stephen Smith, so he can get justice and his family can get peace, and that is what we want with all of our hearts, we have to understand what the heck happened, what went awry with the initial investigation into his very bizarre death. Okay, so I'm providing an actual detailed timeline here, but for the sake of this video and the audio, I'm not going to include every single detail. So this whole series of discombobulated events starts at 3:57 a.m. when somebody calls 911 and he's reporting to see a white male lying in the middle of Sandy Run Road. So 10 minutes later, although there's conflicting reports about when this officer actually showed up, Hampton County Sheriff's Office responds to the scene, and then from there, an hour and about 10 minutes later, somebody shows up from the South Carolina Highway Patrol, and another guy from the South Carolina Highway Patrol was notified of the incident. Now, 3 minutes after that is when one of those guys from the South Carolina Highway Patrol contacts our boy who was on News Nation, Corporal Michael E. Duncan. And then about 20 minutes later, at 5:37, Sergeant Moore of South Carolina Highway Patrol gets a call from one of his comrades telling him about a possible hit and run on Sandy Run Road. So his comrade tells Duncan, our guy from News Nation, that the only injuries to the victim were around the head area. So this is the investigative note that results from all of that. Corporal Duncan called me to advise that he was told it was an apparent homicide and that SLED was taking it over. I was advised there was a possible gunshot wound to the victim's head. Corporal Duncan then discontinued his trip to the scene. I then advised Lieutenant Brock of the updated status of the incident. The confusion only continues from there. So you'll see at 6 a.m., Duncan, this gentleman right here, he says he's on the way to the scene. He calls someone named Booker and said he was told that it, quote, appeared to be a homicide and SLED was taking it over. South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. And remember, Duncan is from the South Carolina Highway Patrol, which, I live in New York, so it's like the state troopers, okay? Booker says he was advised there was a possible gunshot wound to the victim's head. So now at 6:08, to complicate things even more, South Carolina Highway Patrol and this gentleman here who did an interview the other day on Good Morning America, good interview. I believe him. He's solid. I'm going to post that interview. I suggest you check out the full length as well. Moore is advised by Allen that MATE, which is another organization, is on the way and that Allen is almost at the scene. Moore leaves his house and heads to Sandy Run Road. Allen informs Moore that it is a homicide and it's not a hit and run. Moore tells him to make sure that the coroner and HCSO are also ruling it a homicide, because if they're not all in agreement, that's going to warrant further investigation, right? So Moore's on the ball there. Now, just a few minutes later at 6:12, SLED, South Carolina Law Enforcement, crime scene was requested by Chief Deputy Billy Gerald, HCSO, to assist the investigation of a possible homicide in Hampton County. So literally between these three organizations and these 6 to 7 individuals, whether or not you count the person on dispatch, literally none of this information is agreeing with the next piece of information. So 2 guys from SLED respond to the scene. The note said that Chief Gerald, Investigator Perry Singleton, and several other personnel from HCSO were on the scene. Well, that sounds like it could be almost accurate. 6:25, South Carolina Highway Patrol. Moore, the this guy here, arrives at the scene and speaks with Hampton County Coroner Ernie Washington. So Ernie Washington is the Hampton County Coroner. Washington points to wounds on Smith's head and calls the gunshot wound, showing more the, quote, entry point. Hampton County Deputy Coroner Kelly Green showed more photos of the body and pointed to a, quote, entry point on Smith's head and also to defensive wounds on Smith's hands. Moore asked Green, quote, if they were sure it was a homicide, and their response was, yes, for sure. Moore, this guy here, advises mate that they're no longer needed. Moore then walked the scene and saw no evidence of any car parts or pieces, and then he had all of the units clear the scene. Now, obviously, if it's a vehicular accident that killed someone, you would expect there would be some debris and car parts, pieces, chips of paint, anything like that. Well, bigger than chips of paint along the roadway, right? Nope, he saw none of that, and he recorded it. Okay, so now we are progressing in time a little more. So now we're looking at 8:25 a.m. Two SLED agents arrive, surveil the scene, take measurements, and create this drawing. SLED agents noted minor injuries to the victim's left arm, left hand, and head. They searched the area for cartridge cases. The victim's hands were bagged, so they wanted to preserve that evidence. The coroner searches through the victim's clothing and located a vehicle key in the victim's front left pocket. Because remember, the story was he was out of gas, so that was supposed to make sense that he was found 3 miles from his car, right? Another quote, prior to leaving the scene, agents discussed their findings and completed a walkthrough with investigator Perry Singleton and Chief Billy Jarrell, the SLED report said. So those are the two guys at SLED who are in charge. Now remember, the going story as to why Stephen Smith was even able to be hit by a truck outside of his car, away from his car, was that he ran out of gas. He needed to go fetch some gas so he could start up his car and be on his way and get on with his day, right? So around 9:30 a.m., two SLED agents finally found Stephen Smith's car, and it was 3 miles away from where his body was found in the middle of the road. When they found his car, the gas cap was off. Okay, well, that's consistent, right? All 4 doors were locked. The key that Stephen Smith had in his pocket, it did unlock those doors. And what they found inside his car was his wallet. He didn't even have his wallet on him. How is he going to get gas 3 miles away from his car without his wallet in the middle of the night, early morning hours, 4 a.m.?
That's a cool
This
picture.
is just crazy stuff. Apparently, his key did not turn the ignition. The battery was in fine working order, and there was no further clarification as to why the ignition did not turn and the car did not turn on. At 12:30 p.m., Dr. Aaron Presnell from the Medical University of South Carolina began the autopsy and the narrative autopsy report. The results that were released are like this. Now, remember, in South Carolina, all autopsies are sealed indefinitely. There is no date of releasing them. There's no date of redacting them. They are just sealed. They are not a matter of public privilege. But, the medical examiner or the coroner still does disclose basic information and findings from the autopsy. So this is what we know. The cause of death, blunt head trauma due to, quote, motor vehicle crash. A 7.25-inch laceration on the right side of Stephen's forehead, along with bruises on both sides of his forehead. The right side of his skull has multiple shoulders dislocated. He has small cuts on the inside of his left arm. He has cuts and bruises on his right hand. He has cuts on his right arm, including a 6-inch irregular cut on the inside of his right arm. He has cuts on his right fingers. He has 12 3-inch aggregate of irregular to angulated abrasions on his right arm, as well as blood in his airways. This statement is given in light of historical information and the autopsy findings, it's in my opinion, in the opinion of the pathologist, that the decedent died as a result of blunt head trauma sustained in a motor vehicle crash in which the decedent was a pedestrian struck by a vehicle. This is what the autopsy report says. 2 of SLED's finest were present at the autopsy, and that's noted in the report. It's noted in the investigative report that these 2 agents from SLED told Alan and Duncan from the South Carolina Highway Patrol that they need not be at the autopsy. Don't bother to come. We got this. They responded first.
I didn't know that.
They, really should have had more information about the scene. They would have been at the scene longer if they weren't misdirected away from the scene of the accident, or what I'm calling the crime scene. The 2 SLED agents present in the autopsy room are Talon and Burke. Talon notes the weather was cloudy and it was 92 degrees. Now, in an accident report, yes, taking the weather conditions is absolutely critical. However, once you're indoors, you are no longer reporting on the scene of the accident and giving that crime scene narrative. Just to be sure I wasn't making that up, I looked into the professional guidelines for what an investigator or a law enforcement agent is going to include in their commentary or their portion, if there is one, in an autopsy report, and what they are going to be including in a crime scene report. So yeah, autopsy room, we don't need to talk about the weather. I would imagine someone with Talon's level and years of experience would know that. It was also noted, it was determined that the wound in the victim's head was not caused by a fired projectile. It's also noted the pathologist stated that it appeared the victim was struck by a vehicle. No reason given as to why. It was also stated Talon and Singleton should tell South Carolina Highway Patrol that they're going to need to be contacted to investigate. It is also noted Talon contacted Singleton, and he told him that South Carolina Highway Patrol would need to be contacted to investigate. So he's saying, yeah, we need to do a further investigation. So this is a SLED to SLED person making this communication. It was also noted that they did collect a gunshot residue kit from the Medical University of South Carolina. Did they administer it? Did they have it analyzed? That's yet to be determined. There's so much more to be discussed regarding the Stephen Smith case, how we're going to find justice for him and his family, and the connection between the Stephen Smith case and corruption and collusion in South Carolina high society and the Murdaugh family. But let's go back to the central question that we were posing when this video began. So there was a rape kit administered, ordered, and then administered, but never analyzed. So there were no results. It was just an ordering of the kit, going through the motions of collecting the samples so it could just sit there. It's interesting, when you go through all of the case files that are available, you will notice that it was South Carolina Highway Patrol that ordered the rape kit, that ordered some of the further investigation and laboratory evaluation that, kind of says, wait, hold up just a minute. I cannot just accept that this was an fatal auto accident. This is crazy. There's literally no evidence to support it. The kid's shoes were on. There's no vehicle paint anywhere on him, near him, around him, within 100 yards of him. Nothing to indicate that any kind of vehicle had any kind of incident anywhere near the poor young boy. So all of the forensic orders that South Carolina Highway Patrol made are opposing this easy conclusion that, oh yeah, it was just a vehicle accident. And I'm going to talk about this more next time, but if you were to check it out yourself, I'm going to put a link to all of the case documents at the end of this video. It's going to be a safe shared file. If you'd like to have access to them, you're just welcome. I'm going to just provide a general password. Take a look for yourself if you like, or I'll explain more to you in the next video or in the next live stream. The forensic analysis and evaluations, further forensic analysis and evaluations that SLED ordered were all in the vein of supporting the conclusion that Aaron Presnell initially made that, oh yeah, it's just a motor vehicle accident. Ho hum, yep, that's what's up. Goodbye now and have a nice day. Here is what I believe to be one of the most important points of this video.
Hey, good night, man. I appreciate it. What happened? I don't even know what was going on. And what? What wrench are you talking about? Jinx was accidentally timed out. Oh, no shit. What the fuck? I'm sorry. I didn't know what happened. I just saw. Dang, I'm sorry about that. It just went quiet, and I looked down and saw. Whoa, is something going on? And something weird going on with YouTube or something? I'm just sucked into this episode, and then all of a sudden. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, what the hell's going on? I see SRB message something. I'm like, what? What happened? You got who timed you out? What? I don't know. I had it muted while finishing. Yeah, it was probably your connection, bro. Here's a link if you want to hop back up. I'll be ending it here in a few minutes. We're going to be finishing up the last couple minutes. Oh, much love to you. I appreciate your company, for real. And your comedy. You were comedy last night, Jinx. No doubt. I love that shit. You were comedy last night. It never dropped. Maybe it's your connection, bro. The show's still going, so it's your connection. There's another link you can click, though, and you can join. But we just got a couple more minutes of this episode. It's already getting late, everybody. We just got a couple more minutes of this episode. Then I'm going to get into the graphic content before I end the show. And then I'll be having the night off. Definitely check out Kevin Kraft on his next piece of work. Yeah, sorry about that, Jinx. I didn't even know that shit happened, man. Sorry about that.
For sure, perhaps surrounding this topic as it moves towards the idea of possible corruption in this case. I think it's more like likely corruption in this case. So do you remember before we heard about the autopsy that Dr. Aaron Presnell conducted and her strange report?
Oh, okay.
Hampton County Coroner Washington and the Deputy Hampton County Coroner Kelly Green both independently indicated to Corporal Moore of South Carolina Highway Patrol where they could see an entrance wound for a gunshot, therefore concluding that the death of Stephen Smith was due to a gunshot. Now, later on, when Moore was concerned about what was going on with the investigation or lack thereof or manipulation of, he circled back to Washington and he was like, hey, could you also come to the conclusion that his death could have been due to a car accident? And Washington would simply say, I'm just going to go with what the doctor says. Now, this is a common thing, from what I understand, that coroners and medical examiners will do. Whoever the appointed coroner or medical examiner is in a particular jurisdiction, they have jurisdiction, they have say over the classifications and the rulings of manner of death in that jurisdiction. And from what I understand, they pretty much respect one another and do not like to step on toes. So that response is not at all surprising. Well, get this. According to investigator Todd Proctor, Kelly Green was fired between the dates of July 22nd and August 18th, 2015. Well, why was she fired? Well, we can't say for sure, but we do know, according to the autopsy report that Presnell wrote, Kelly Green was responsible for evidence transfer in the case. You know what that includes?
The phone.
The rape kit.
What?
Evidence transfer.
What?
The following items are transferred to the Colton County Deputy Coroner Kelly Green, who attended the autopsy on July 8th, 2015.
What?
Khaki shorts, 2 black sneakers, black Nike t-shirt, paper bags from hands, right and left fingernail clippings, pulled scalp hair,
No way.
oral, rectal, and penile swabs for each. Dried blood spot on filter paper, and a CD with digital autopsy images.
Oh my gosh.
She wanted to analyze that evidence forensically, and before she got a chance to do it, she was fired.
No way.
So let's end on that note. We're going to pick this up in a part 2 real quick because I'm already working on it. It is really deep, compelling stuff. So please leave a comment. Let us know what you think. I would love to hear. Everyone be safe.
And we'll be playing episode 2, whatever next show I do on this topic. Holy crap, all of those items. Whoa. Khaki shorts, 2 black sneakers, black Nike t-shirt, paper bags are from hands, right and left fingernail clippings, pulled scalp hair, oral, rectal, and penile swabs for each, dry blood spot on filter paper, and a CD with digital autopsy images. Wow. All of that shit. That's a lot. All right, that's a lot. We're gonna go into graphic warning mode. So I'll give anybody time to back out. Good night if you're hopping out. For the graphic warning, but this will be a part. And then I'll go ahead and end the show for the evening. I know it's getting late. All right. I will put the link to this in chat. Lily in London on Twitter. I'm not going to zoom into him or anything like that because I can see him just fine. There's the link for the actual photo from Lily in London on Twitter. And yeah, you can already kind of see from the screen. Here, I'll do this, but that's all I'm going to do. Yeah. So you can take a screenshot if you can't. If you're not on Twitter or you can't access it, you can take a screenshot real quick. You get the gist of it. Yeah. So that's all I'm going to show with that. Go ahead and end the evening. Yeah, heartbreaking. It is. It's just when you look at it, it kind of makes you rethink some things. Like, okay, I don't know if he was necessarily placed there. Something obviously took place there.
Might have been the back of a truck and got dumped out of the back after getting the tar knocked out of him.
Right. Because that, I can see why they thought gunshot when they showed up because that's what I thought when I saw the picture. I was like, damn, that looks like a gunshot. Just from the photo, just from the photo, that's what it appears to me.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and throw your link up so in case anybody's watching on replay and they're just checking out the show, that way they can come over and hang out with you tomorrow night. I'll be over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when you see me in your chat, just hit the 3 little dots on the right side of there and just add me as a moderator, and then I can post your links and stuff for your short videos and all that other stuff.
Right.
Post links for you. It's a harsh reminder that this was a real person with it. Yeah, exactly. It's like those photos were kind of put me in the same spot like when we listened to the TikTok audio clip last night. That shit was disturbing too.
Yeah.
But it's a part of the case. And it's allegedly, but I don't know. It sounded we've had phone calls or audio recordings that have came out with that case before, and it's found out to be not true. So, you always got to take it with a grain of salt, any of this stuff, if it's not proven in court. But you at least got to explore it, all avenues, because that's what's going to tell you the truth, not take you down a slight altered path.
Or it could take you down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, that too. A rabbit hole to the other side. It's like, wait a minute, what? All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the show. Hey, what's up? I've been listening but was doing work at home. Well, I appreciate you hanging out. Yeah, I'll be doing the full read-through of the full report tomorrow. I'll do that offline, and then I'll be posting that at the end of the night. So don't think I went live tomorrow night. It's just me putting out just a regular video. So, all right, everybody, good night. Appreciate your company and your thoughts and your opinions. And I'll probably talk about this Thursday night, but we'll see what happens after the next couple of days and what comes out. And then I'll kind of go from there. But I'll have a decision always, that afternoon or something before the show. So good night, everybody.
Have a good
peaceful
one.
and positive evening. You too, man. And see you in tomorrow night's live, man.
Yep.
come to the station for a station assignment, please.
Yeah, 10-4. 913 Route.